Hello, everybody! It is another beautiful Sunday morning, and if you are live here with us, you are listening to the Super Gamecast. Hi, I am Bronson Fiore, your host, joined by the always awesome, finally back from his multiple vacations, Aaron Reynolds.
Hi. Wow. Back here. Time is a flat circle. I was gone for so long and now I'm back here and it's like I never left.
Exactly. Everything just repeats over and over and over again.
Over and over until you die.
Oh dear. Oh
Wonderful.
dear.
And then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
And then we got our mod mommy, Emily Hulslander, making sure our chat is nice and clean.
Pretty neat.
Yep.
It feels good to have everybody back together. That's wow.
Yeah.
Yes. I posted in the Discord that Tenacious D song, "Dude, I totally miss you," regarding Aaron not being here.
You. Dude, I totally miss you.
It's been a while. I heard that you had some good conversation, so weren't in want for that.
Yeah. There was PlayStation fucking bag fumbling. Constantly.
Hardcore.
So,
Jesus.
Man, you being gone, I was like, fuck, I want this man's opinion on all of this shit. God damn it.
Let's go.
There were some good news stories, man. I was bummed. So
I guess we'll recap some of those though. Dog, that PS5 Pro happened.
Yeah. How's that doing right now? Because like, I feel like there's just a bunch of people who have money that I don't have, and it's leaving me confused.
So,
Watson, try to elaborate.
Yeah. So we were buying a second PS5 for the house anyway. So I was just like, fuck it, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
What really sold me on it was actually the Digital Foundry videos when you got to see the side by side, and you're like, oh, okay.
It actually is like decent.
Yeah, so performance mode in the like regular PS5, it obviously creates like a smearing effect, and then like you go and you see the like that smearing effect gone, but still getting 60 FPS. It is a noticeable difference, especially in certain games. The biggest one being Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
So I think that whether or not this is worth it, it depends on your situation, both financially and as a person.
Right.
And then second off, it's do you have a TV to drive this shit? Because you probably need a pretty decent 4K TV to notice the difference.
Okay.
Now that said, if you're the type of person who notices the difference, it's still expensive, man. Let's put it this way. When it got revealed and we did the show that week, if I was not already in the market for a second PS5, I probably wouldn't be buying one.
Right.
That's kind of was the biggest factor. I was like, well, I'm already looking for one. I'm excited about the tech stuff. I want to talk about it on the podcast. I don't know. I do think that it's not going to perform well. But the original PS4 Pro didn't perform well.
Right.
So this is no.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing is like I was looking at this news and I'm just like, and I must say on my trip I did come into contact with a PS5, and so it was on the mind.
I thought your account got hacked because I know you hadn't bought a PS5, and I saw someone on PSN with your tag playing PS5, and I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I had access, and they let me log into my account on it. So I had it in my hands for a while, and it's a more modern PlayStation. I don't know what to tell you. It's very much that.
Yeah, it's dog. Did you like the PS4? Do you want a faster, better looking PS4?
Right. That's it. that's all it is, and great. Um, but it got me thinking about like, all right, the games library and all that, and I was just like, I mean, in all honesty, the Pro coming out is the best thing for me because hopefully that drives the price of the original down a bit more later.
That's what you would hope. I just think that unfortunately Sony just doesn't have any competition, so they're just being like, fuck it.
Right? Yeah, like that's
Like,
all they can do, and maybe their performance around Christmas time, you know, alters their course a bit because it's certainly not Xbox that's going to pressure them.
well,
Uh,
I mean,
so yeah,
normally a device like this ends up being sold out. Um, you can still pre-order one right now on their website.
right.
Like, just I did the 6 a.m. dance just in case. Like, I got in
Sure.
queue, I did the fucking wait on the website, your lottery, etc.
Yeah.
And yeah, like now that 30th anniversary edition sold out within like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that
Yikes.
I'm not
Which,
surprised.
which that was gonna happen no matter what. They made 12,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Still bullshit.
it is very much bullshit.
Sorry.
They sold out of all that stuff with it except the controllers, the regular controllers, within an hour. Cause I waited in queue and I got in right at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, and I got into the line at 6 when they opened it for everyone, and they assign you your spot randomly, so
Mm-hmm.
bots and scalpers just can't be waiting. And
Dicks.
what?
I would call bots and scalpers dicks.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Fuck them.
Yep.
But since bots and scalpers can be waiting, everyone got assigned randomly, and my spot ended up being like about a 40-minute wait.
Okay.
45.
Wow.
So by the time that I got into the website, all the 30th anniversary shit was sold out except for the controller, the regular controller, which is good because
Yep.
that's what I wanted out of the 30th
Honestly,
anniversary
it's the
shit.
controller that is the most interesting to me because it has the original like colors for the
Yes. Yep. The
yes,
buttons.
for the
Yes.
buttons, which is that's the thing I want most from that collection. So great.
Yep. Like I was kind of I knew I was not going to get the 30th anniversary bundle for the Pro and everything.
Yeah.
Realistically, that shit wasn't gonna happen. Was I hoping? A little bit, but And that said, that thing they revealed the price on it. It was $1,000. Now,
For the
Man.
bundle?
yeah, I'll explain what's in it though. So automatically they have a $200 controller with it because they got their fancy Pro controller,
Mm.
like the
Their
one with
fancy
the.
Pro controller, $200.
Yeah, that's how much the Xbox one is also. The
Holy shit.
yeah, the one with the back paddles and the adjustable stick range and all that shit.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
didn't
Mhm.
realize it would go up that high. Holy
Oh
hell. All right.
yeah, no, they're expensive. So it comes with one of those. It comes with a charging station for the regular controller and the Pro controller because it comes with both.
Okay.
It comes with a case for the Pro controller. It comes with posters, special cable ties, that kind of shit.
Yep.
I do like the fact that the charging cable for the controller looks like a PS1 plug-in.
Oh, that's fun. All
Yeah,
right.
that's a nice little touch.
Okay.
They got the PlayStation symbols, controller ties with it, and apparently a 1 in 30 poster.
Oh.
So yeah, this thing is insanely limited. That's actually one of our news stories. I might as well get to that now. That shit's selling those things on eBay. The Pro bundles that they only made 12,300 of
Uh-huh.
are selling for about $5,000.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Um. Uh,
Yay.
yeah. Shit's fucking crazy. It's so
Yeah.
nuts. But yeah. That said, the Pro this was only for a brief period of time because you can buy them again now. Fine. Like no issues. But
Mm.
originally the disk drives all sold out in a week because the Pro doesn't come with a disc drive. Um,
Yep.
yeah, which
Yep.
those all sold out. I was one part of the problem because I bought one because I knew I was gonna buy a system. Sorry, I have
Sure.
a black background, but it's on the shelf over there. Um,
You'd be the kind of person to just buy a disc drive just cause, just to add a tally to people who want the disc drive.
um, um, yeah, a lot of people were complaining that I didn't have a disk drive, and I was one of them. But they do give you an extra terabyte of storage, and considering the numbers Capcom put out a couple weeks ago about like, yeah, 90% of our customers buy games digitally. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they sure
The
do.
fight is not looking good.
No, it's not. I do think that this Pro unit is a test unit for the next PlayStation in regards to what people are willing to pay
Hmm.
and how many people want a disk drive built in and how many are willing to buy it later.
Yep.
So I do think with how poorly this $700 went over, when PlayStation 6 rolls around, I think they'll probably keep it to 600 unless Xbox also goes to 7.
Hmm.
And I do think the disk drive will be an add-on. So
Yeah. I wonder. I don't know. We'll see as time goes on. I wonder if they're okay with things with the numbers as they are right now. I wonder if it'll steadily roll, and then by like holiday, see what those final numbers are.
yeah, I'm curious because like I asked around like the circles I'm in, and like even Ninja isn't buying one of these.
Oh, that's wild. Okay.
Yeah, like Ninja is he's waiting to hear my opinion of it.
Hmm.
Partially, like I talked to him and I'm like, you get one of these? So he's just like, nah. Saving to buy a house or not a house, a townhouse right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
as that is
Good
something
call.
that is the only thing millennials can afford.
Right.
It's fucking true.
No, it is.
Like Phoebe and I looked into that, and we totally found that you can. The only thing we can really afford in the city is a townhouse.
Right.
Like townhouse or condo. But yeah, I don't think that there's a lot of people I know personally at least buying this thing. The internet as a whole seems very lukewarm on buying it.
Hmm.
So you know that, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't seem there's just not a whole lot coming. They got the new Ghost of Tsushima game, but just like I don't know, man. I got this giant ass computer that can play a bunch of games. Um, yeah.
see, like I'm someone who has like in my older years moved to wanting to be on console more, but even then, I'm just like for most people, yeah, just buy the regular one, bro. It's fine.
Right.
Like, yeah, you have to choose between do you want the 60 super high FPS or do you want the better visuals instead of getting both, but you're also saving $200? So,
Right.
you know.
Yep. So with that kind of price
Yeah, because
discrepancy, yeah.
yeah, because I mean, Death Stranding 2 is probably what would get you to buy a PlayStation, right? Like that's
Yes. True.
and
Yes.
uh they showed a dance sequence at TGS, by the way. Uh,
I was
Okay.
reading an article about this before we joined the call. I was like, oh God, if we talk about this, Aaron's gonna be so happy.
it looks like a very good game, Aaron. I'm actually pretty stoked for it. But
That's
like
great. Good.
I look at the like yeah, like Aaron. So if you want to buy a PlayStation for Death Stranding 2, yeah, just get a Slim. You
I
know.
mean, that's what I'm thinking is like it's just going to be a small thing that's going to tide me over until whichever console. I don't know why I'm asking like whichever console, like it's a mystery. Um, whichever console wins me over for next generation, like that'll be the one that tides me over. Because
I
I don't know, this Xbox is just sitting here,
I
and
just
PlayStation with it has few games that it's putting out on its own, but they're good ass games, and I haven't played them.
yeah, like well, and I think that this is Microsoft's big problem in regards to selling you the box, which I personally think they don't give a shit about anymore.
Right.
They are all about getting you into Game Pass, which, haha, they got all of us, so, that shit worked.
Right.
Um, you know, like, it's not like their strategy is fucking bad, but it does make the box less appealing as a whole.
Sure.
Um, you know, I think that's the biggest issue. Um,
Yep.
the other news story that you missed, I wanted to go over was, hey, Concord cost $400 million to make and was shut down in 11 days.
Man, I was thinking back on that. That was a story that I kept coming back to while I was out. Was like, I don't remember advertising for this game.
Um, I remember it was on the like PlayStation State of Play they did.
Uh huh.
Mhm.
And I remember seeing the occasional ad for it, but
That
like
was
on
it.
yeah, that was like it was not a big ad push. Apparently most of that money went into development. Um
Which is wild because marketing tends to be half of the cost, which means a $400 million game. If they were really betting on that being the future, they needed to put another 400 million into marketing it.
well, so internally at the studio, they apparently had a very high opinion of themselves. Because internally it was referred to quote as the future of PlayStation with Star Wars like potential and a dev culture of toxic positivity that halted any negative feedback.
That second point really, really, I read that and then thought Valve would make something and be like, this doesn't have Star Wars potential. Like, Portal doesn't have Star Wars potential. What are you doing? What are you doing thinking this? Like,
Um,
regardless of who you are, let alone.
so well, we got some more details from the studio. It was a bunch of ex Bungie people. Um,
Oof. Okay.
that went and made their own studio, and they were funded by I forget who. Sorry, I lost that. And that team, and they spent about $200 million. It wasn't in great shape, and then they got bought by PlayStation, who spent another $200 million to try and right the ship and ordered a bunch of outside contractors to come in and see what they could do.
They must have one hell of a salesman if they believed in it so hard that they put sunk all this money in. Sony bought them and then said, "Hey, can you dump another 200 million?" And Sony's like, "Yeah." Like,
And that does not include the amount Sony spent on buying the studio.
right. Yeah. Like they have to have been sold on it as well. And when did that happen? When did Sony buy Bungie?
But Sony bought Bungie in like 2021, but they bought this studio in 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Shit.
um
Well, I mean that goes back to one of the big problems with that game, which is that yeah, Overwatch was hot around that time. You take too long to make a game like that, and just expect success because it's another one of those in 2024. That's a hard as fuck sell.
I also think that like the 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 game itself, like we went and we looked at those characters when this news story came out. And we're like, all these characters look lame and flat as hell. Um,
It's I think there's let me pull up a list of I want to see these characters again because I've like tried to conjure them in my memory and I can't. I remember their outfits because they were so weird. Like that was what I remember most was that they looked like AI generated outfits. And not to say that like they were disjointed or anything. It was like, but I had seen people like will try to create. I think I said this before on the podcast, but like 1970s version of Marvel superheroes in like a Flash Gordon style, and then it would conjure up and like, that, wow, that's actually pretty cool. And this is what that makes me think of. Um, it just it's very weird. I don't know. There's something off about it that I can't quite put my finger on. It's different. I will let you know. I'll say it's different. Which I wouldn't say is a negative thing, but it's just like I don't know. I don't have the design eye to tell you what it is that puts me off about it. It just does. This is not a cast of characters I look at and it's like I want to be in this universe and like run around with these characters. It just does not inspire that in me.
Versus like you look at the Overwatch roster and you're like, oh my god, everyone is cool as fuck.
So there's like the Overwatch roster. Everyone's cool as fuck. Like Overwatch is a standard setter. I remember seeing that roster come out and like this is like a fucking just an amazing display of character design prowess. That was incredible. And then other rosters, similar rosters would come out. Apex Legends was like, all right, yeah, sure, I could see where you're going with that.
People like that roster a lot.
Oh yeah. No, I know people do. For me, it was like it doesn't. Those characters didn't like resonate with me, but I can see there's a cohesive vision happening here. And that's the thing. There's like I guess you could say there's a cohesive vision happening here. I just can't. I can't gel with the vision for whatever reason.
It's just not good. Like I don't look at any of these characters and go, "Oh fuck, that looks awesome."
Yeah. It's just weird choices. Weird choices. The color palette being this like teal and magenta primarily like is weird. I don't know. But I was thinking about this while playing a certain other game that we'll get to eventually. Is like this other game that I've been playing does things that like normally would turn me off in other games, and it's like it's doing it all right, and I'm like, huh. Well, then I don't know. Maybe there's a context in which characters that look like this would be entertaining if it wasn't just another hero shooter. Like it's not the visuals. The design is not the selling point for me, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game or anything. It's just that there's no incentive for me to want to play it. Where at least with Deadlock, you have Valve developing a new game, that game being a MOBA shooter and like trying to do something different and interesting. And I get their so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't played Concord. And at the price point it's at, I'm probably not going to. The only reason I'm playing Foam Stars eventually is because it's going to become free to play. Otherwise, it still wasn't enough for someone like me to go check it out. And that's just what the video game market is now. There's so many games out. Well, everyone's battling for my attention. Like, you got to be more than that. I'm sorry.
Well, and that's why, like, everyone's like, people bring up like, oh, you can't do another Overwatch. I'm like, no, a lot of people are really fucking excited for Marvel Rivals, and it's not just because of Marvel. It's because those characters look fucking awesome in that world, that version of that world.
It looks like they've made something fun, and like the Marvel characters help, but it looks like they've made something fun and interesting. And also, right now is the perfect point. Overwatch, people are looking to leave Overwatch. They're looking for reasons, but just being another Overwatch isn't going to cut it.
Right, like, it has to be, like, a promising game. Like, when we looked at the footage a couple months back in Marvel Rivals, like, I was like, you can do team attacks based on, like, their actual stories. Like, Venom and Spider-Man have a team-up.
Yeah. And that's going to be fun. I think this channel is probably going to be big on Marvel Rivals for a while here. I'm going to pull up some Concord gameplay. I want to look at some of this, because, like... Woke Sweet Baby Inc. Like, okay, all right. I made a mistake searching for Concord gameplay. God damn it.
Well, that's the hardest part about Concord footage is like just Lord, man. The amount of takes on this is
that are completely off base.
Exponentially high.
We have been talking about the problems of Concord, and we have not mentioned the woke factor yet. And we're not going to because there's no reason.
But, there's 4 black women and no white dudes. So,
Right.
That was the problem with Concord.
That was the problem. The most acceptable argument, and I don't think it's necessarily a great argument, but it's not like there's no point to it, is this is what happens when you make a game where no one's hot. which, like, first of all, your definition of hot is subjective. Second of all, um,
Fuck you.
second of all, fuck you. Third of all, like, I I I kind of get what you're saying because we play games where characters look cool and we like, man, I want to see this character and I want to. I get what you're saying there, but also like, fuck you. Not every game has to appeal to your bullshit. Like, this game can just be this game. But I'm looking at this now, and it's like, okay, they made a sci-fi world, all right, and it's Overwatch. This is Overwatch.
Oh, well, I remember Jeff's review was pretty damning in the first like paragraph even.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
What did Jeff say? Because
And now I'm
Jeff would
curious
be
about
all about
this.
this kind of game. So
yeah, like well, as would I. Like I even like I'm really into shooters, and even I was
right.
just like, eh. Um. So sorry. Why would you play Concord? It initially seems like a really crappy question to ask, especially for a game that doesn't really have any massive faults. But as another entry into the insanely crowded and established competitive shooter space, it's part of a valid line of questioning. Really, what about Concord sets it apart from other competitive shooters on the market right now? What does it do better than anyone else? Will anyone be playing it in 90 days? In a genre packed with some of the industry's most popular franchises, how does it differentiate itself? The only thing I can really point to is, well, it has weekly cutscenes that will help you get to know the characters a bit better. That really doesn't help the gameplay, which mashes up ideas from 3 or 4 other better and more popular games. And that's just the
Yeah.
first paragraph.
Yeah. But that's like that sums up how I feel about what I'm looking at here. These characters are moving slowly in an Overwatch style gameplay, and it's. I imagine, like, honestly, I imagine if they were to make this a show, I mean, it would get canceled due to the nature of people making shows these days. But it seems like someone like really worked hard on trying to make an original world, and I don't know. I'd like to hear them try to expand on that lore some more, but it's just not going to happen through a video game.
Well, it's going to be a part of that Amazon Secret Level show that's coming out in December.
Well, there you go. I don't know. That's probably the best we're gonna get of Concord is find out some stuff about the world, and then, but like this is not it. This isn't it. This game is not it.
Man, and just, there was that beta going around of Marvel Rivals at the same time, and Jesus Christ, did it make the game look bad?
Well, that's the thing. It was bad. It was battling on two fronts because you had the Marvel Rivals beta, and then Deadlock leaked like a
Yep.
little before, and then they started like getting people in around the time of its launch, and like you were boned. You were boned already. You were boned because you're already going into a saturated market, and then like two of the more exciting, similar genres. Deadlock's not super similar, but
It's a
it's
hero
adjacent.
shooter, but a
Yes.
MOBA instead of a standard hero shooter. Yes.
Right. And so you were boned. You were boned. Like there's just no way around it. And
Well, I had a
yeah.
sense they were boned because in the state of play where they showed off the gameplay, they had like 10 minutes of Concord gameplay. And then they had a 2-minute trailer for Marvel Rivals that, hey, Marvel Rivals is coming to PlayStation. And it looked
Hmm.
so much better. And I'm just like, oh, this is bad. This is real
Yeah, I'm just
bad.
looking at these maps and like everyone's just moving a little too slowly. But I don't know, maybe that's not it. I don't know, this just does not seem exciting to me.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
I feel bad for all those developers who put in all this hard work. But it just they were not honest with themselves about what this game was.
um I know some people said that $400 can't be right, but the credits for this game is an hour and 12 minutes long.
God damn.
Mm-hmm. Um. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. We should make smaller games for less for the majority of developers. I think
or
this is the way
maybe
to go forward.
maybe like if you've already spent $200 million and the game is in bad shape, maybe you should just cancel the project, get your tax write-off, and have them go work on something else.
Right.
You know,
Yep. Yep.
not
I mean,
not.
at least with this, by releasing it, developers have like this on their portfolio.
Yeah,
Here's a AAA game release I've worked on. Like, even
that
if it's bad, like I'm an artist for Concord, and you're looking, you're like, all right, you can do a AAA game.
you know,
So there's that.
yeah.
Um, but
Apparently,
otherwise,
so that studio is awaiting its fate, as it's been termed, because a lot of people I think is
mhm.
getting shut down. They've already pulled some people to work on other PlayStation projects. Um,
Okay.
and the lead on Concord is getting moved away from development and into a different role. Um,
Damn. Okay.
well, and a real interesting thing that we found out about Concord during this whole everything is apparently Herman Holst, the head of the PlayStation Studios brand, not PlayStation as a whole, but like the portfolio teams and
Yeah.
whatnot, really loved it.
Huh.
Really loved the shit out of it.
I
He,
mean, yeah.
which is like fucking so weird to me because he was like the Killzone guy, right? You know?
Which is, yeah, that's amazing when you think about like Killzone 2 multiplayer, and then you look
Yeah,
at this. Like, really?
yeah, and he's like the Horizon guy, and he's been head of PlayStation Studios since 2020. And I think what PlayStation is finally realizing, it's just that this takes time to make happen. Is they had that big live service push, 12 live service games by 2026.
Yep.
Um, outside of Helldivers, none of those have worked out.
Right.
And apparently they canceled some of them. Like they canceled The Last of Us, Factions multiplayer. They've canceled some other stuff. And what I'm thinking internally in PlayStation is, with the exception of Helldivers, all of these bombed. Someone in upper management at Sony or PlayStation went, you need to fucking stop this shit. You need to go
I
and
mean,
make goddamn single player video games.
yeah. Yeah. That's what you were good at. That's why people liked you. That's what saved your ass when Xbox like shat their opportunities down a toilet. Was like, hey, here's a quarterly single player release.
Yes, absolutely. And I realized that it was going to be longer this generation. I
Yeah.
always knew that that was going to happen because 4K, time, money, etc. But
Hmm.
you know, and COVID fucked things up real bad. Like it fucked up every development schedule. So
Right.
all these games, like they had 3 games come out in 2022. God of War, Horizon, Gran Turismo. Those were probably supposed to be out in 2021. Spider-Man came out in 2023, was probably supposed to be out in 2022. They just move everything a year back.
Right.
And I think they're finally getting out of that. Next year, so far, they have Ghost of Yotei
Hmm.
and Venom. Like, we know Venom's coming out because of the Insomniac hack.
Right.
So it's like, all right, well, next year is Venom and Ghost of Yotei, and that's a pretty good year. That's a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
And Death Stranding
Yeah.
is supposedly next year. I'm not.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. Koji, you know how
We'll
Kojima
see
be.
about that. It'd be
So
nice, but um. Yeah. I don't know. This. Yeah. Concord business is rough as hell, but it's just releasing another Overwatch that doesn't even look as action packed as Overwatch in 2024 is like, yeah, this
it's
isn't gonna work, man.
yeah, it's a death sentence basically. Um.
Ugh. All right.
So, now that we're done with the recap, we can start getting into this week's news. Hey.
Yay.
Speaking of PlayStation, we used to be an Xbox podcast, not an Xbox podcast. But Sony just coming out with the news, swinging every week this month.
Let's
Uh,
fucking go.
Sure. Yeah.
don't worry, the Switch 2 is coming. We'll morph into a Nintendo podcast soon.
Yeah. Right.
Eventually. But for now,
But for
Every
now.
everybody gets a turn in bad news roulette. Um,
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the wonderful fun of video games is
mhm.
even when someone is gifted a lead, that means that they are going to be given a chance to fuck it up.
Man, so, Anthony and I were having a conversation. I was like, man, do you think Microsoft saw that $700 and was just like, man, maybe we should have put out a pro console. Like, do you think like, I actually still say the Series S is one of the smartest things they've ever done.
Yeah,
hmm
I think that I know so many people, Emily included, who bought Xboxes because of the Series S. I have a second
right.
Xbox because of the Series S, because I was laid up in my living room and didn't want to always be in the office at the time. So like, and a Series S was only like $240, and I was like, well, shit, dude,
Yep.
I can buy this tiny little box to play Halo for that amount.
Right.
Um, so anyway, the state of play. We'll get into it. What was announced? First thing is Astrobot is getting free DLC. 10 new special bots and speedrun levels coming this fall. That's free.
sick.
Okay.
That game is so goddamn good. That game is
Glad I got it when I
so
did. Sweet.
yeah. I absolutely adore the living shit out of Astrobot. I want to put some more time into it. Um, thankfully, I've almost got my WoW goals done for the season. So
Nice.
Yay!
I'm moving a little slower this season. I'm kind of just taking it in, enjoying myself.
hmm
Um, you know, but yeah, Astrobot has definitely been one of the big surprises this year. One of the big like, oh man, this game is hype. Uh, so they also showed off a bunch of VR and indie titles.
hmm
So Sony's PlayStation blog doesn't have these in order, so I'm just
Huh.
gonna go bottom to top. They showed Towers of Agashba. This looked alright. This was it's kind of like a super surreal puzzle platformer survival, or not platform, puzzle survival game with some farming elements and city building. I'm gonna be real. I saw this game and I thought it would be perfect for my girlfriend. I honestly need
Oh, really?
to I I'm actually gonna shoot her the name now that I've been remembering it, pulling this up.
Oh, there's some
Uh,
interesting like traversal happening in this. Okay.
yeah, it looks cool. It looks very
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, this game looks very interesting. It's on PS5 early access this November. Probably
Mm.
same as PC because it's an indie studio. Um,
Right. This is interesting.
yeah, it looks cool.
All
Um,
right.
hey, Shadow X Sonic Generations. Uh, I am like cautiously optimistic about this game.
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, anyway, it's getting Movie Pack 3 DLC or Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Movie Pack DLC coming out
Okay.
on December 12th to get people ready for the movie.
Sure. Good
Um,
call.
yeah. Uh, the that really good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game from 2 years ago is getting DLC. It's getting some new levels and two new characters.
Nice.
It's called Radical Reptiles.
Okay.
Which, god damn, I love '90s naming. Uh, but yeah, you're getting a pair of lizard people, Mondo Gecko, and then the other lizard lady.
Okay.
And then it
Lizard
also
lady with
has
bandana.
yeah, it also has some new music, which is great because that game's soundtrack was dope.
Cool.
So yeah, no,
All right.
super stoked for that. I played that
Did
game
I
on.
just see Onomatoguchi on that
I don't
as part of the
know.
music?
I know that
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
They got Mega Ran on it for sure.
Yo, we got Mega
Uh,
Red. That's my dude.
yeah. So looking at that, like I played that on Game Pass. I've been meaning to buy it. That's probably going to be a game I pick up. I don't know what platform I want to get it for.
Mm.
I'm actually leaning towards PlayStation because that is a game that would be dope to play couch co-op with my girlfriend.
Right.
So
Yeah. I got it as a birthday present on Steam, so
yeah.
played quite a bit of that. That's a fun game. That's a fun game.
Um.
Uh, confirmed, by the way, it is Automataguchi.
That
Oh yeah. Okay.
nice.
So sick.
They also did the music for that sick as hell Scott Pilgrim game, so that makes
They
sense.
sure did.
Hell
So
yeah.
good.
All right.
Anyway, the next game was a horror game. I didn't want to say this is what they opened up the show with. It's also a V. It's in PS5 and VR,
Oh
so you can use
shit.
Oh,
either. Um, this is another like this showcase. Like the first quarter of it, I was very much like, oh, this is all stuff my girlfriend would be into. um,
It's
yeah.
creepy.
It is very fucking creepy, boy. Let me tell you.
It's
oh
it's like
shit.
Tim Burton, but like even more so. Just like, oh god.
It's like if Tim
It's more
Burton was
fucked Tim
having.
Burton.
It's like if Tim Burton was having a bad mushroom trip.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
like
like looking at
that's
this face. All right. Oof.
yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
I am shocked at the amount of money they're putting into PSVR 2, man. That PSVR 2 is not selling. It's not doing great. The fact that they even let you use it on PC, even if it's not its fullest potential, and they're still just like, no, man, PSVR. Like, and it's like,
And
okay,
God bless them for it,
I,
because someone's got to fund some decent VR development to try and figure this shit out.
I also think Sony, at bare minimum, wants to make sure if you buy a piece of hardware from them, you're at least not totally fucked. In
Yeah.
terms of, like, even the Vita was getting games for a good 4 or 5 years. It wasn't.
Hmm.
It obviously was not their biggest titles,
No.
but it was like, hey, we made this game from Studio Japan. It's like Monster Hunter but cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Stellar Blade is getting near DLC.
Yeah. Oh
Huh.
no.
Um,
Not surprised.
I mean, I'm here for it. I played the demo of that game and I wasn't overly impressed, but they have a trial for the full version on Plus. I'm gonna give it a look.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. Oh, they also added a photo mode. They're adding a photo mode
Uh,
to the game as well.
Also not surprised, but cool.
Yeah. It looks awesome. Like you see, like you look at like what they're doing here in this trailer, and it is really cool. Um, I
Sony
I am
wants
a,
me to. Yeah.
I'm a,
All
I'm
right.
a fan of a good photo mode.
Yeah. Especially
Um,
for a beautiful game.
Yes, this game looked cool, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones I want to give another shot because like I played the demo, but I only did it for like 20 minutes. I was like, maybe I'll give it another chance. It does
Sure.
seem like the combat has a lot of depth. It's just that it's not necessarily. It wasn't for me. It was a little. I was expecting Nier or Bayonetta, and I got like something significantly slower. So,
Mm, right.
hey, Power World's coming to PlayStation.
Cool. It should. I'm surprised it's taken this long.
I think Xbox had a deal for that one. Is probably what was going
Okay.
on.
Well, I hope they got their money's worth.
Probably. I mean, I played it on Game Pass, so I guess they did.
So did I.
Hey, Monster Hunter Wilds getting a trailer and a release date. We'll watch that now. It looks like
I
they're
did
kind of,
actually catch this.
yeah, it looks like they're leaning into story some more.
Which is funny because my Monster Hunter friend says the story is like the least appealing part of Monster Hunter.
He's correct. I have at least tried all of those games since 3. I've only really liked 2 of them. If I'm being completely honest, I really, really only liked one of them, which was World. But this looks like World, so
Yeah.
Um, I will say that I am still like it's crossplay, so it's not a big deal. But I'm debating if I want to get this on PlayStation or PC
Okay.
because PC makes it easier to stream, which I have a feeling is going to be a thing because you're now into Monster Hunter and Joe's into Monster Hunter, and playing it together on stream would be a lot of fun.
Would
But
be.
on the other side of that, playing this on a 65-inch fucking television. I mean,
Not a bad idea.
come on, man.
Yep.
So I don't know. And then also it feels. I'll be honest, it feels just weird playing Monster Hunter on a goddamn computer. It feels
Sure.
weird. It feels weird. It's yeah, because I played it on PSP and the other and like it didn't feel as weird on Nintendo when it was a handheld, but
Yeah.
like for the home releases, playing it on a goddamn anything but a PlayStation to me felt weird.
Right.
Which is why like the Wii one was also a weird experience.
Despite
Um,
being a handheld, it's still like, yeah, here's a
yeah,
console experience. It's yeah. Yep.
yeah. Um, game looks
Yeah.
cool. I
The game
forget
continues to look like a cool Monster Hunter.
what weapon were you again?
Well, I'm messing around right now. My main currently is the insect glaive, but I've been messing around with the charge blade as well.
Nice. I'm a dual blades kind of guy.
Hell yeah.
I like to go spinny on their spine.
Exactly. No,
Uh,
they're toning down the spinny of the insect glaive, which is bumming me out. So I don't know.
might be dual blades time.
It might be dual blades
We all go spinny.
time. So
Um.
yeah. Um, and if we were to stream this and you wanted to be on PlayStation, since it's crossplay, I could just stream.
Okay, that works. Yeah, cause
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I might go that route then. Playing it on the big TVs.
Yeah.
And also and this game like it's probably well, it might not be entirely server based, so I might be able to having a physical copy might not be the worst idea in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's out in February
Man.
28th.
Okay.
So that's soon, man. I was expecting like summer, but
Right.
no, February.
Okay.
Also, man, Capcom on fire.
Continuing.
Just the hotness continues. We got RE4 and Street Fighter last year. We're getting Dragon's Dogma and the Marvel Collection this year. Next year is the Arcade Collection 2, and now Monster Hunter. Capcom cannot be stopped.
They're
Clearly
on a
not.
hot streak.
Yep.
They're on a straight up hot streak, and there's no knowing when it's gonna end.
So they just
Just
had some
banger after
people
banger
leave,
after
right?
banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just had it. It's Suno, the guy behind Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry, left.
Yeah. That's a bummer. That's a big
Probably
one.
be probably be, and I think the main reason is because um, Capcom was like, so another Devil May Cry or Dragon's Dogma, right? And he's like, I want to make something new. And Capcom was probably like, so another Devil May Cry or Dragon's Dogma, right? And it's like,
That's the thing. Yeah. Capcom, the situation they're in right now, they're doing so well. And for Capcom, a business, we were talking about the movie industry yesterday on the Discord. Like Capcom's like, we have all these franchises that people really love, and we're doing really well, and people are excited seeing us do these franchises in the modern age. Let's just keep mining that. And
I
it's
mean,
not a
yes,
terrible strategy right now.
it's not, especially because some of these franchises you haven't seen in ages. Like, Dragon's Dogma was the last Dragon's Dogma before 2 was 11 years ago.
Right,
you
right.
know,
They're
like
about to make the most dope Dino Crisis game you've ever seen.
they're
Yeah.
hopefully, like hopefully, hey man, new Dino Crisis, like new Marvel, new yeah. So the next thing that Metro or that was in this thing was Metro, the Metro VR game, Metro Awakening.
Metro keeps going.
It's a weirdly popular franchise.
Yeah. And that's
I
not to say that it's bad. It's just like, I don't know. I look at Metro and it's like, I would not have picked this as like a big franchise that is getting release after release after release. Um,
like
looks
I
cool.
yeah, I was not expecting this to be the franchise that like got multiple sequels and was popular and doing all this stuff. It's weird.
This like looking at this seems like definitely one of those games. Like I'm looking to the future of VR and I'm trying to figure out like what is going to be the game that figures it out. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, this still feels like some hallway business. like to manage, how many assets are on the screen for the VR for VR to handle, but like I kind of want to. If I had a VR headset, I would want to check this out. A headset that could play like on PSVR 2. I would want to check this out. This seems
I
interesting.
I it does. And like I'm the problem with this for me is it still has the problem of any VR that's not on rails automatically just makes me throw up everywhere after an hour.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like I
Yep.
loved Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx took me several sessions to make any progress because I would play it for 45 minutes, an hour, and be like, I need to stop and lie down.
That's
So,
one of those things that I think is just I don't know how you solve for that. And if you don't solve for that, then VR is never going to take off.
just pack in a lifetime supply of Dramamine with any VR headset.
Lifetime, no, we're in the Sony section. There'll be the $200 controllers and all the accessories, and then there'll be Dramamine,
Yeah, there
Sony
you go.
branded. There you go.
So PlayStation, it's Dramamine just for gaming.
It's chewable tablets. It looks like Ratchet. This one is orange.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
um, so they put it on a Lunar Remastered collection. Lunar was a
Okay.
very popular series of JRPGs. For the one I played was the PSP one, which was Silver Star Harmony, which I want to
Okay.
say was a remake of 2.
Hmm. All right.
I really liked Lunar Silver Star Harmony.
Okay.
Um,
That's cool
oh
if
no,
you're
it's a
into
remake.
into one
It's
of
a
these kind of
remake.
games.
So it's a remake of the first. So Silver Star Harmony is a remake of the first one.
Gotcha.
But yeah, these games are cool. If you want a really good JRPG, these games are pretty dope. Um,
Cool. All right.
they do the anime cutscenes. They're
When did
pretty
the first game
cool.
come out?
92.
Wow.
It was a
This game's got some
Sega.
history.
It was a Sega CD game.
Oh man.
And then I believe that the remake came to the Saturn, if I recall, which is how I knew about it.
Okay.
Um,
God, look at this old anime animation.
oh no, it was actually the PlayStation, and oh, it might have just been the PlayStation. Why did I think the Saturn? No, it was the Saturn. It was the Saturn as well. Okay, that's you know.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
so yeah, that game's cool. I really like that first one. I played the crap out of it on PSP. Yeah.
Spring 2025.
Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. Finally happening.
Yo.
People are stoked for this.
Yo.
So
Uh,
okay. Yes, this is a name I've heard a lot about, and then apparently No Clip is putting out a documentary on Soul Reaver.
yeah, Soul Reaver was a really popular PS1 game. Mostly Legacy of Kain was the big one, where
Legacy of
it's
Kain, that's the name I remember.
you're vampires and you're doing vampire things, and it's an action adventure game.
Okay.
It's so
Um,
good.
Yeah.
a
I,
lot of
I got
people really
excited when this was announced.
a lot of people really like it. The best way I can describe it in a lot of ways is it is very much a very stylistic Zelda-like in a lot of
Gotcha.
ways. Is the closest thing I can give it. It's kind of its own vibe, but if you had to give me a direct comparison, that would be the one. Also,
They're
I
I
showing
love
love
off how they've remastered some of these visuals, and it's a really cool
yeah,
display.
I love seeing that, especially for like PS1 games, which these games are, if my memory serves.
yes.
Um,
Right.
Originally PS1 like mid to late 90s.
And
I think it was
PS1, if
around
you want to talk
there.
about games that could use visual remasters,
It's this.
PS1.
yes,
Yeah.
PS1 and N64 is the generation that like I feel like we're gonna get a lot of remakes and mining out of because of the fact that like a lot of those games age poorly, which is great because like that Crash trilogy they did, oh so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Um, the
There's a whole lot of great video games that came out during that time. So,
the yeah the RE2 remake, RE3 remake.
hmm
Um, they should do a Metal Gear Solid remake. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, cool.
yep. Hitman's getting a VR game.
Another one?
Yep. World of Assassination VR.
So it's like it's the World of Assassination mode, but in the VR instead of just Hitman 3.
It's Hitman 1 through 3, but VR basically.
Okay, so they got the VR done for the other two levels, other
Yep.
two games of levels.
Yep.
That's sick. I never played this, but fucking Hitman's great, and doing it VR sounds fun.
Yeah, Hitman VR seems like a pretty like easy 1-to-1. Like this is a great idea.
Yeah.
I do think you do miss you miss some of the visual comedy, but you
Oh
also
no, yes,
probably
because you can't see this stern-faced man dressing up as a drug dealer in Berlin and be like, "I have drugs. Do you wish to buy drugs from me?" Like you miss out on a little bit of that, but
but yeah, that looks neat. They put out a trailer for a game called Hell Is Us.
okay.
You know, it's kind of like a mystery game from what I can tell.
Hmm.
The next time I watch one of these, I really just need to take notes to send over to. It's like these are the ones that will matter to you.
Right. Right.
uh,
We got some combat happening. It's interesting. They're trying to make what looks like a single player action adventure game. Oh,
yeah,
that's a beautiful shot. All right.
yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, oh,
This is kind of interesting. This is like, I in a weird way, it almost feels like they don't make this kind of game anymore.
yeah,
They do, but like I don't know. If this feels like something old in a good way.
yeah. Someone has been playing a lot of PS2 games recently.
Yeah.
There's some stuff about that era I miss in terms of creativity. Not so much as
Hmm.
far as like design goes, because like some of those games still have whack as shit controls. But like, you know. By the way, Jack and Daxter 1 still holds up perfectly well. Play that
Okay.
game today.
Hell yeah.
Run that shit through an emulator so it's in 4K and you're good. Good to go. Had a
This
great time.
final shot of the Hell Is Us trailer, it shows him in his like SWAT, like I don't know, bulletproof vest or whatever that is. I don't know what that is. And then a poncho, and he's got his sword, and then he's got a drone behind him. And all I can think is like, this is the lamest Zelda movie adaptation I've ever seen. Oh God.
It's being made by Rogue Factor Studio. I don't know.
That's
Fortnite.
interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on that.
Yeah, for sure. I hope it comes to Plus, so I can give it a real try. But
Yeah. Yep.
Fortnite's getting a controller for PlayStation 5.
I'm surprised they hadn't.
Why?
Where we drop in, the bananas,
They're getting money. They need more
take the
money.
high ground.
The money they got, it wasn't enough.
This is
Here's
the
more.
only this controller and the LeBron James controller are the only two they put out where I'm like, I don't want this.
Nope.
Like
Nope.
like I wanted the Spider-Man controller, I wanted the Astrobot controller, I wanted I even wanted the Hogwarts Legacy controller. That thing looked awesome. This thing looks lame as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And
Um so got a Halloween game coming out on October 22nd, Fear the Spotlight.
okay, all right.
Um
Blumhouse Games.
yep.
Oh, cool. This looks like this is interesting. Visually, looks like they're trying for like a simulation of old graphics, but not really.
Yeah, like it looks like it reminds me of like a late 90s PC game.
Right, right.
Like something you would see on PC in like 97, 98.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad there are people out here making games like this.
Yeah, I think that we're currently in the era of the PS1 and N64 nostalgia is real, and then there are people from that generation who are like teenagers and 20 somethings now like in high profile spots on dev teams.
Right.
So you're seeing a lot of PS1 where you normally saw SNES nostalgia, now you're seeing like PS1 nostalgia.
I feel like we've been in the PS1 nostalgia for a few years now, and I think we're still going
Oh
hard.
yeah, it's gonna be like a solid decade of that. Like that's the straight up. It's gonna be like, and then we're gonna get PS2 nostalgia, which is that's our time.
Right, exactly. No, that's when we'll be going strong.
Um, so the gentleman behind the Final Fantasy franchise is putting out a new RPG coming out this December called Fantasia Neo Dimension,
Ooh.
and here we go.
All right.
I really enjoyed Lost Odyssey. Oh, Nobuo Uematsu is also working on this.
Nice.
That's cool.
I'm glad he gets to work on something original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a chance to make just entirely new shit instead of a franchise. Like, I need to call back to this. I need to do this and that. Make this song yet again. I
Like
like the making of dioramas to run around in.
I like the fact that it feels like a pre-rendered background, so it ends up looking and feeling like a PS1 game with modern graphics.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, like yeah, this looks like an old school JRPG too.
Yeah.
Love it. I want this.
Give me my turn-based combat. Yeah, let's go.
Give me my classic Final Fantasy energy, please.
Um,
Cool.
getting a new Dynasty Warriors game.
Hey, all right.
Oh,
Yep, new one of these.
I need to try Dynasty Warriors. I played like a demo once or twice, but like the
that
idea
was it.
of like running around swinging at hordes of enemies sounds like dumb fun.
The problem with
Yeah,
Dynasty Warriors is the concept has never been bad. It's just like it feels like since like they've been essentially making the same game but prettier ever since they had the tech to put a million dudes on the screen.
Right.
So
Yep.
it kind of feels like these games have literally not changed since like 2002. Um
A lot of
yeah,
dudes though on screen.
it is. I really liked Hyrule Warriors.
Right.
I put a good amount of time into that one. I don't
Man.
know.
All right.
I
That
will
might be
say
something to think about here.
the tech
January
of
17th. Holy shit. All right.
playing one of these, the tech of playing one of these like on a modern system. I'm curious what it looks like.
Right? Yep.
that'd be
Mm.
nuts.
Mm.
So, I'm not gonna show this because it's fucking long. It's like 5 minutes. But the Dragon Age put out a lengthy as shit boss fight video, and it looks like what you would expect out of an EA open world blob. So,
Yeah.
I who are the Dragon Age fans in our Discord?
Anthony,
Okay, I want to talk with Anthony about this trailer, or have you talked with Anthony about this trailer?
I've talked with him a little bit, and he had that exact sentiment. He was just like, "This
Really?
looks fucking
Meh.
soulless."
I like this goes back to like I think there are artists who worked on this that have made some cool stuff, but like as someone who just doesn't care about Dragon Age, I'm just looking at this and like I hope Dragon Age fans like this.
I like, yeah, I'm someone who doesn't care about Dragon Age, and like even then though, I'm like, eh.
Right.
It wouldn't get me into Dragon Age, and even from an outside perspective, I don't know how you could find this to be interesting or cool. Like I just don't look at it and see anything that seems like special.
Well, again, it goes back to, if you're trying to pull in new people, it's like, all right, what stands out? What's something that I need to experience, and I need to drop another game to go experience it.
Mm.
And Dragon Age, to be fair, has been in a case of like, look, we are just trying to make the fans happy at this point because they're looking for any reason to drop us too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious to see how they respond to all of that. But
hmm Yeah.
anyway,
All right.
so next up is Arc Age Chronicles, new Arc Age game.
I don't know anything about Arcade.
I don't either.
Oh, okay.
I know it's of its existence and that it's like kind of a B tier franchise. Um, you
This
know,
looks good.
yeah, like it looks visually interesting, and like the combat seems sort of cool. Kind of gives me some DMC vibes, a little bit. DMC
A little
meets
bit.
Dark Souls, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm kind of here for that.
This
Uh,
seems interesting. I don't know anything about this world or anything, but like visually looks stunning. Combat looks fun enough for sure.
yes,
Um, yeah.
man, seeing this before the Dragon Age trailer was
That probably did not help
did
at all.
not help. Man, you want to talk
Ooh.
about just man? I think somebody at Sony needs to look at their showcases and go like, maybe we want to order things a certain way.
But like, I can imagine. I can imagine it would be really fucked. Like, if developers found out that Sony like changed the order of the trailers into the order of what looked the most fun, and like you're the first game, and you're like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck? What is your problem?"
uh, Alan Wake 2 is getting another DLC.
Cool.
It is heavily based within the Control universe and world.
Oh yeah,
So, because it's
connect them.
yeah, they're connected. I'm stoked for this. I haven't played the last DLC yet. At this point, I'm kind of waiting for that like PS5 Pro upgrade. At this point, where it's like, well, I
Fair
might as
enough.
well since So yeah. Look, Alan Wake 2 was one of the best games of last year. Probably one
Right.
of the
Right.
three best games of last year.
Hmm.
This DLC is actually out in October. So yeah.
All right.
And I want to say it's included if you bought the expansion pass. So,
Hmm. I would assume.
yeah. So yeah, that's out in October, coming soon. They announced the PlayStation Plus monthly games for October: Doki Doki Literature Club,
Oh
uh,
God.
Dead
Cool.
Space Remake,
All right.
and WWE 2K24.
Weird
Why?
choice for that because like what is it? It's September or October, whatever fucking
It's
month it is right
October.
now.
Oh yeah, it's currently
Super
September.
far from WrestleMania. I guess it's like a few months out from Royal Rumble. So like what is this for Survivor Series? I don't know when Survivor Series happens. I don't know. Weird choice.
Yeah. They're putting out new shells for the PlayStation 5 and
Sure.
controllers. Getting kind of a pearlescent white, a metallic green, and a metallic blue. Or I guess that's more of a purplish blue. I don't know.
Violet,
Oh,
blue.
sorry. I think this is cool. I think having more options to customize your console in an interesting way is neat. Like being able
Look, man,
to
we came from the generation of having the face plates for your Xbox 360. More ways to customize is always good.
yeah, imagine a faceplate but for your whole console. There you go.
I
Pearl,
mean,
Yeah,
teal,
I
and
do like the pretty
indigo.
colors.
the
I
colors
do
are
like
good.
the pretty
The
colors.
colors are good. I because that one on the right is black, right?
The one on the right, I want to say, is green, and man, you need to calibrate your
It
monitor.
said teal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's green. Okay, all right. Okay.
um,
Wow, green. Interesting choice. I guess no one's really claimed that color in the console space. Um,
Not really.
I really want them to put out the shells for PS5 Pro, including the Spider-Man one they did last year. That
You
Spider-Man
okay.
want
2.
that shell so bad.
Yeah, dude, it sold out and they never restocked it. Very lame. Very, very lame.
Oh.
Um,
Slight side note. Two things. One, I want a silver one. I would love to have a silver, like
I
almost
think
chrome one.
Oh.
I think
That
they
would be
have
really good.
one. I think they have a
Do they?
silver cover. Hold on, let me check.
All right.
Because I know they have a silver controller. I know
The other
for a fact.
thing I wanted to say is, you know how there are like certain words that like just saying them, there's something that like rubs you the wrong way. Like one for me is cream. There's something about cream. It's like ugh
Yeah,
as a word.
they do have a silver one, Aaron.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Good to
You can
know.
get a silver cover for a flat, fat, or a slim. You also have metallic blue, metallic red, and black.
Okay. All right. So
So,
they've had some colors, but they're gonna get some more. All right. Nice. Good for
uh,
them.
uh, hey.
Um. Anyway, to
Um,
finish my previous point, there are some words that I say them and they sound not. I don't like the way it feels saying them. Shell is the opposite. I just love saying the word shell. Shell's a good word.
fair.
Uh,
What about moist? Where do you stand on moist?
some people don't like moist. I don't know. Moist is fine. I don't have strong opinions on moist.
Moist.
In fact, it's funny.
And
I like saying moist.
half the people listening to this just turned off the show.
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
um,
Shell.
I was gonna
Shell.
say real quick before we get into the next trailer, two things. One, Hell is Us is coming out on Xbox 2.
Oh,
So
good.
possibility of Game Pass. I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be
And
interesting.
then for Aaron, Survivor Series is November 30th.
Okay. Survivor Series
So
is not
it
a
kind
huge
of
one, but
coincides with
it's one of their
possibility
big
of,
four because SummerSlam's already happened. So, all
yeah.
right, Survivor Series, then Royal Rumble, then all right. It's still weird. I think they should have done like a horror game. You know, they already had Dead Space, but it's October. Come on now.
I mean, they have Doki Doki Literature Club as the
Well, you gotta have
opening
some. You
game.
gotta have one for the
So
people
that's a
who aren't
little bit of
about.
horror in there.
You gotta have one that are for the people who aren't about the Halloween stuff. I get it.
There's a little bit of horror with that game, though.
In
So
its own way.
just a little.
In its own way. All right.
Anyways, continue.
so they're doing Lego Horizon Adventures. Uh,
I saw this,
I saw this
and
too, and I thought that's kind of cute.
it is cute. It seems like they're leaning more and more into the Lego movie humor and style, which is good because that shit's
Yeah.
awesome. But man, Horizon.
Dude, Horizon is insanely huge. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I liked the first one, didn't love the second one.
Right.
And, and man, Horizon has become such a huge franchise for them. It's
Huge.
wild how popular it is. Like, I looked up the sales numbers and I just kind of assumed, oh, it probably did a little better than Killzone. I'm like, no, it blows Killzone out of the water.
And the
I'm blown.
costumes. Oh my
So many
God.
Guerrilla Games have announced this. Oh my God, this was 2 years ago. Announced Horizon Zero Dawn sold over 20 million copies.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So Horizon the series is up to 32 million across just two games.
That's insane.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's yeah.
damn. I gotta say, people were. I was looking on Discord. People were shit talking the new Assassin's Creed or whatever, and I just like. It feels like slop to us because we play a bunch of video games, but people fucking love those like open world action adventure games. And
Because they probably only play like one, if
sure,
that, versus like in 1 year we can play six of those potentially.
easily, easily.
You know.
And so, yeah, I could totally see people just being like, yeah, the Horizon and then Assassin's Creed, and if they're really tuned into games, all right, let's pull out some Ghost of Tsushima and then God of War, and all right, back around Horizon, and then Assassin's Creed, and then
The
that's what they
the
do.
the problem I have is just like the quality level is not the same. Like Ghost of Tsushima is like the actually Spider-Man 2 is like the high bar for the quality level in that kind of game, and then
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed, as you said, it is some very low bar slop.
It's very much like I'm not gonna say slop, but it's super well tread territory. Like, yeah, they're going to new areas and stuff, and there's some great art that they make for that. But in terms of what Assassin's Creed is now, it's like, yep.
Like you have to think they've completely reworked those games in Origins, which was
Mhm.
7 years ago, and I'm already tired.
Well,
I'm
right.
already like they switched to a new formula. It's more of an RPG, and I'm still just like I'm like already tired because we're already on the fourth one of those. Like I'm just fucking exhausted,
they
and I
they put
don't
out so
care.
much. Yep.
And like it affects other games because I'm about to play the next trailer. They're remastering the first Horizon.
That's
Um,
right. Yeah,
similar.
I know why.
So if you already own it, the upgrade is only $10.
That's good. Good.
So if
I
you
mean,
are,
I feel bad that we're seeing. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Fine. Yep.
I will say that once again, I think if you just look at it, it won't seem like an upgrade. But then when you see the side by side, shout out to Digital Foundry once again, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But it is one of those things where I feel like a lot of people aren't going to notice or care.
Right.
I feel like that if once again you're one of these weird man. I have a sickness, and it's just like, well, I can't unsee it, and now I want the better version of these visuals. It is a sickness. It isn't. Yeah.
I will
I don't know.
say I have not played the Horizon games, but as someone whose tastes have been set by Power Rangers, seeing fucking robots in like T-Rex and other prehistoric dinosaur configurations is activating neurons in my brain in a
Let me
way.
let me tell you. As much as I kind of harangue the story of the first one, the second one, the story of the first one is genuinely fucking amazing,
Wow.
especially the ending. Like the
Okay.
ending of the first one is one of the better video game endings. Uh,
Damn. All right.
so yeah, and as much as I bitch about it being standard open world gameplay, the boss fights in these games are all fucking incredible. The way you can use
Okay.
tools to like you can set up like little traps to trip them and pin them down, and then you chip away at their armor so you can hit their critical spots. Like
Huh.
legitimately the fucking boss fight sections of these games and combat of these games is like really thought provoking and intriguing.
Huh.
It's like just the open world walk for miles bullshit, climb a tower, except now this time the tower is a dinosaur, is not engaging at all to me.
Right. That and they keep finding ways to release it the same window as Zelda.
Yeah, there's another, like, the first one they put out during Zelda, the second one they put out during Elden Ring. This one's coming out during something, I forgot what it was, and I'm just like, bro, stop! It's kind of impressive. It's
Poor
even more
guys.
impressive that they managed to put out. God, what was it? They managed to put out 32 million copies across two games, considering that handicap.
That's wild.
Uh,
Good for them.
yeah,
But
they put
whew.
out a sizzle reel of PS5 Pro games, like games that are getting the enhancement.
All right.
Um, one interesting thing is two games are getting 8K support on the Pro.
Good lord.
Yep,
Sorry, what?
For
yep.
who?
Uh, someone who bought a $10,000 TV. I don't know what to tell you, man.
It must be a lot.
It's no. Sony likes to do this. It's just like how the PS3 had a bunch of 3D support. You
It's just
know?
Mark
Yeah.
Cerny. It's just Mark Cerny. Like we can do this. Let's do this.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's just
Tony's just like, I guess. All right.
it does. Can you do it without spending extra money? And Mark Cerny's like, yeah, yeah, that's fine. We can do that. Yeah. It's two games that have that. It's Gran Turismo 7 because they always do crazy bullshit. Like the PS2 version of Gran Turismo 4, like if there's another version, has 1080i support. So and then
Wow. All right.
yeah, but yeah, they
Remember when
they
we
got
talked about 1080p versus 1080i?
yeah.
Remember when that was the conversation?
Remember
Yeah.
when we were talking about the 360 and PS3 didn't actually run barely any games 1080 native?
Yep.
Now, yeah. So the game, some quick games. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Everyone who's gone to see this thing in person is like, yeah, that's the biggest upgrade. Last of Us, all the Sony games. Hogwarts Legacy, Alan Wake are also getting stuff. The one I'm most excited for is Dragon's Dogma 2 because that game's frame rate is fucking wildly up and down on base PS5. So I'm
Sure.
actually really excited for that. Metal Gear is getting the treatment. Dragon Age, like they the Resident Evil games, they're getting a nice solid you know entry levels batch of games for the launch day, which is November 7th. So yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the comparison videos. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Finally doing the LG OLED television. So I will let you know how big the upgrade is and what the difference is. And then the last thing they ended with was Ghost of Yote,
Right.
which
I'm so excited for this. Oh my god.
yeah, it genuinely looks fantastic. Like the first one was fantastic. Apparently this is PS5 only, so they're gonna be making the most out of the console.
Cool.
So you're gonna get to see the full power of that Ghost of Tsushima team unleashed.
Finally. Let's
Uh,
go.
and when you see the gameplay in this, you're like, dude, it looks like a movie. It
Oh
legitimately
man.
looks like So it's 300 years after the first game in a different region. They're
Right.
doing the Final Fantasy thing, or where it's everyone's times the new one. It looks like you're getting a dog companion this time.
Hell yeah.
This is gonna be sick.
Let's
Like,
go.
Yeah. I love the first one. I'm still like 3 trophies away from the platinum. I need to sit down one weekend, double back, and commit to wrapping up those last like 3 trophies. Uh,
I think I
Yeah.
have 2 left before I get
I, I played
my
75
platinum.
played 75 hours of that goddamn game.
I did 80. All right. A
Like
You got a
it
little bit of
was
time.
little bit.
yeah. This is probably coming out. If I had to guess, I would say next summer. Um, especially because they're now Sony has been really good, for better or worse, on waiting till shit's with coming out within the next year. So
Hmm.
I think that this is going to be at latest by next fall. But I think
Yeah.
realistically it's probably coming in summer. Yeah, look at that fucking shot of that mountain, dude.
It's good.
Oh,
That feel
Mount
like
Yote. Oh,
yeah. Man, Sony first party, dude. Like just
They got it.
they
they know how
really
to put
do.
out a banger, and this is gonna be one of them, for sure.
Yes, I'm not guaranteing, but if you were to ask me, like, like, do you have faith in this game? Probably gonna be really good. Yeah, Sucker Punch has a very good track record.
Hmm.
As always, you have idiots saying, "Oh, female protagonist woke."
They're really pushing. They are really trying.
Yeah, you
Just
have,
stretching.
yeah, just a bunch of fucking morons.
Yep.
Being like woke. Like it literally is turning into the boy who cried woke. Like it's just like it's the
Well,
dumbest
they're giving
shit.
away the game. They're giving away the game of what they actually like, which or what they actually want, which is they'll see, some trailer with a white person, moving around in a game, and then they're commenting how many DAI people are in it. They're just
Yeah.
just just straight up saying it. Like
Right.
that's yeah.
Well,
So
the sadder part is I think that there is a contingent of people who like who aren't like racist idiots and just got fucking co-opted into these group of morons. Yeah.
there's a genuine conversation to be had about people in positions of power and influence in entertainment who are clearly putting, doing diversity and all this just to check a box to try and get the most profit. And that hurts everyone.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and there's a conversation to be had about that. The problem is the a lot of energy, a lot of the people that joined that movement are not there to improve the representation of those people.
Yeah.
They want those people gone altogether.
Yes, and those people fucking suck and should be shamed loudly. You
Yes.
know,
It makes it hard to have the actual conversation that needs to be had that everyone would agree on if we actually like put aside the bullshit.
right, and that's the. By the way, Aaron, your camera's frozen. You might want to turn it off and back on.
Yay! I don't,
But like no, because I definitely have had that conversation with people, just like, well, I don't want it to feel forced, and I'm like, yeah, no one does, but like
right.
but you can't like signal any woman character, any minority character as the fucking woke bullshit, and then like also be like I'm pro diversity because it's just like, well, maybe just maybe they just wanted to have a female protagonist.
Right.
Um, Also, this is something that someone pointed out from the first game. Reminder, if you see anyone complaining about a female samurai in Ghost 2, this means they did not play the first one, which also had a female lady samurai, Lady Masako. So they pretend you...
Thank
Right.
you.
Yep,
Thank you. Lady Masako, people. Come on.
yep. So, yeah.
Unreal.
Um, yeah. So, that's the thing. Game looks dope. Game looks dope. Fucking,
Yep.
don't, these idiots need to go away.
Yep.
Uh, So we have the confirmed batch of PS5 Pro games for the launch.
Huh?
This is if you go on the PlayStation Store right now, this is what is listed as Pro Enhanced, as they're calling it.
Okay.
Uh, Alan Wake 2, duh. Assassin's Creed Shadows, The Callisto Protocol, The Crew Motorfest, Demon's Souls, Dragon Age, Dragon's Dogma, Dynasty Warriors, EA Sports College Football 25. God damn it, make me pissed about that on Xbox now. EA Sports FC, Empire of the Ants, Enlisted, F124, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, The First Descendant, Fortnite, Gran Turismo, Hogwarts Legacy, both the Horizons, both The Last of Us, Liza P, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. God, that's such an
Okay.
amazing title. That's the name of the next
I'm
one.
excited for that game too.
Yeah, so they did Infinite Wealth. Now they're doing Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Uh, Yep.
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 Uh,
That's what I want.
Madden, Marvel Rivals, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, Mortal Kombat 1, My Little Universe, Naraka Blade Point, No Man's Sky, Ratchet and Clank, Pro Baseball Spirits, Redacted, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, Retrieval, Rise of the Ronin, all the Spider-Man games, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Star Wars Outlaws, Stellar Blade, Test Drive, Until Dawn, Towers of Agaspa, Warframe, War Thunder, Wolverine, World of Warships, and then a pair of VR games.
Damn.
Bad
So,
lineup.
so yeah, not a bad lineup at launch, and there's only gonna be more coming.
Obviously.
As it's gonna be the same thing as the PS4 Pro, where where it's gonna be like the first year is gonna be mostly spent like we're gonna upgrade our old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, um, yeah, no, good little list there. So hey, due to all the 30th anniversary stuff with PlayStation, Aaron, I think you might want to give up the ghost on the camera.
I want to keep trying. Yeah, I think it's done. But
Um,
whatever.
yeah. Anyway, so uh, hey, the 30th anniversary edition bundle. Articles are saying it sold out in seconds. Realistically, in the U.S. at least, it was more like 20 minutes. So if you were
Mm-hmm.
one of those people that got in during the first 20 minutes, you were able to get a Pro. They did end up selling out of everything that is in that anniversary collection. Total, that took about an hour to an hour and a half
Mm.
When I
Oh shit.
when I got in at the 45-minute mark, all that was left was controllers.
Oof.
Which once again, mission accomplished. I remember posting in the planning Discord. Well, I spent too much fucking money today. Yeah. Uh.
Sent the receipt of what you fucking got, and I'm
uh
like,
yep.
Paige, I love you, but
Yep.
god damn it.
This was a very expensive year between all the shit for the house and that, and yep.
You earned it. It's all good.
Yep. I worked. You work to spend the money. That's why we do it.
Hmm.
Anyway. Yeah, but looking at all this 30th anniversary stuff got me thinking, um, hey, man, 30 years of PlayStation, huh?
Yup.
Um,
Damn.
and how, like, I look at the PS5, and in my opinion, this might be the second least interesting PlayStation.
Mm.
What is the absolute least PlayStation?
Oh, PS4. I think PS4 is ultimately just, like, the definition of, like, just, this is when Sony got really safe and boring.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, and then like I was kind of thinking about like what is my favorite PlayStation, and my favorite PlayStation might actually be the three.
You're not wrong on that front.
What?
Interesting.
PS3
Yeah.
came out with some bangers. Like straight up bangers.
Yeah, it was just very interesting to see Sony in like in the second place spot for the longest time, and to have and like to see all the stuff they were doing. And then every time I go and I look at my PS3 library, it's like, God damn, there were so many games put out by Sony during this time period that were fucking awesome.
Right.
See?
Like,
Straight
yeah,
up bangers.
because like I love the PS1 and the PS2 as well. Um, you know, eh, I'm not including portables in this because obviously the Vita is the best console, period, right? But
Without question.
um, But like I look at it and I'm just like, yeah, man, you got three Resistance games, you got three Uncharted's, three Killzones, three Motorstorms, two Little Big Planets. You got SingStar with that really dope online support.
Hmm.
You got Fat Princess, Flower, Journey, Wipeout, four Ratchet and Clank games. Like, dude, and yeah, like it had technical problems. Like its online was significantly worse than its competitor. It was a pain in the ass to develop for. Um, but it just had so much stuff from Sony first party coming out constantly. Versus like I love the PS1, but like the PS1 is definitely reliant on third party a lot. And then the
Yeah.
PS2 is very similar. Like when I go and I look at like my like PS2 emulator, right? And I
Hmm.
pull it up and I look at the library and I'm like God of War, Sly, Ratchet, and Jack and Daxter are kind of the only things in this emulator that are actually like made by Sony. Everything else is made by other people.
Yeah.
And then like I have to say like the PS2 is probably the peak of their influence, of course, because it was like the
Hmm.
default console. Oh no, Gran Turismo that was also made by Sony first party, and like I don't know, man, like just what PlayStation did for video games was just they made video games more adult, right? Like
Right.
that's kind of what they were credited for, and it's like just it's really weird to see a company that kind of didn't play it safe most of its existence with video games spent the past two generations playing it entirely safe. And I think that that's partially due to the fact that they don't have real competition, and then partially due to the fact that they kind of got fucked by COVID and making Jim Ryan was just like, oh yeah, live service games, that's the future of our brand, even though that's really never been a big part of our brand outside of one game at a time, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Aaron, what's your favorite PlayStation?
My favorite place. I mean, it's got to be two. Like
Two, two.
it,
Yeah.
it, 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 not for good reasons, not for like objectively good reasons. Just like, man, that startup sound, man, those memory
That,
cards.
yeah.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie. I really love me the PS1 startup sound. The PS1 startup
Sure.
sound gives me the happy mind goblins.
I'm bummed that they stopped doing it.
Yeah, well, they do it. It's just not. It's kind of just a small chime sound now.
That's the thing. Like, man, I don't know.
I think the thing for me is just like I don't like the current menus like vibe. Like I love the PS3 menu. Like the PS3 and PSP menu was so good. It was
Sure.
so good. Like you got to see the little icons of the game playing when you mouse over it, and it played music. Like they still play music sometimes, but like they don't get the little gameplay icon. And same thing, like you know. And I expect the media section, of course, isn't as robust because who the fuck owns their digital files anymore besides me?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Just and PS3 was obviously a key time for me as well. It's just like PS2. I remember getting the Xbox. I was an Xbox fan
Yeah,
for a little while, and then I discovered the PS2 way late, and then I still ended up having more PS2 games than Xbox games at the end, despite like jumping on like more than halfway through.
so I was late to the Xbox party as well versus the PS2 party. I was pretty early.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, my PS2 library is judging, about twice the size of my original Xbox library.
Yep.
Like I'm staying out here in my game collection to get a look, and like yeah, it's um, and then I look at like my PS3 and PS4 collection are about the same size, and then we're only midway through the life of PS5, and it looks like it'll probably finish about where the other two are. And
Right.
then my PS1 collection is very, very tiny because I sold most of it. So,
Exactly. Yep.
unfortunately, dumb mistake. Shouldn't have done it. Oh well. Um,
Um. Yeah. I just there's a nostalgia there for two that I'm always gonna have forever.
yeah,
If they were to make a PS2 retro PS5, that would get my attention.
fair. I actually was talking about that with Anthony, where for the 30th anniversary, they should have leaned into more than just the one. They should have done
Right.
a shell for all of them. So like,
Yeah.
they should have done like a shiny piano black one for the 3 with the Spider-Man font. They should have done like you know, a like kind of rigid one for the 2, the current one they did for the 1. I don't know what you would do for 4. uh,
Yep.
make it really hard to put in the back HDMI port when plugging in a capture card. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
I realize that is such a content creator problem,
Yes.
but at the time we were, with during the entire PS4's life, or everything except a year of it, I was working at that website, and like we had to capture footage every week, and getting behind the PS4 to plug in an HDMI cable for the capture card every week sucked ass.
Yikes.
Cause it was like Xbox was easy because it was flat, so you just feel around. But like it was really hard to get it around that weird ridge part of the slanted PS4 and PS4 Pro.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. And also, dear God, all the PS5s are ugly. Dear
Still,
Christ.
like that's the thing. Yeah.
Like I think the Pro is less ugly because they trimmed it down a bit. Like it's a little more
Hmm.
squared and like when I look at a Pro, I'm like that's less hideous.
Right. I mean,
Like
without the disk drive, they can fix that.
yes, but I'm adding a disk drive to mine, so mine's
I mean,
always gonna
sure, but it's not like part of the box.
no, but mine is always gonna look like it has a tumor.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, the disk drive legitimately looks like a fucking tumor in these. Versus like, let me tell you, Series X looks amazing. Series X is an amazing looking console. Holy hell. So, yep. All right. So that's the Pro Enhanced list, and Sony's 30th anniversary. The actual date happens in December. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something for that. We'll do a segment if we don't have any. You know. What? Actually, I forgot to ask. What is your favorite PlayStation? Because I know you've been around since the beginning as well.
Um, yeah, been around since well, pretty much day one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably PS3 would be my favorite.
PS3. Yeah, that's. Hey, Aaron, your favorite
Hmm.
PlayStation game is probably Shadow of the Colossus, right?
Yeah, that's a good bet.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think of mine because, like, if we're including third parties, that's obviously Metal Gear 3.
hmm
But if we don't include third parties and it's just like these are games made by Sony, then I'm like probably Uncharted 2. That's the one. Like it's
Yeah.
Uncharted. It's Uncharted 2 or one of the Spider-Man games. It's probably what it is. Man, I need to play Uncharted 2 again. That game was sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that game crazy.
yeah. Game still holds up. Uh,
For all these years.
yep. We got two more PlayStation stories here. First one is Ken Kutaragi, creator of the PlayStation, uh, you know, has claimed that everyone at Sony thought the PlayStation would fail. He spoke at the Tokyo Game Show this week about his ambitions to enter the hardware space in the mid 90s. We wanted to share the passion, Kutaragi told the audience. We wanted to hear their expectations and what they did not expect, so we wanted to hear from them. We visited dozens of companies, if not 100. We visited a lot of game makers. It was a great memory. Most of them were not interested. They said they just said don't do it. There were multiple companies and none of them were successful. You are going to fail. That's what they told us. God
Uh,
damn.
I
Uh,
mean, first off, roasted. Second, who's laughing now?
all
d-
right.
yeah, Well, and they had a fucking point because at the time, like you looked at all the companies, like Panasonic made a system, and goddamn,
That failed.
Apple made the Pippin, and like you had all these manufacturers of electronics trying to get into games and failing. It's very realistic that Sony could have failed. They just did it right. And I think part of the reason they did it right is because they handed off the response. They made it a subdivision of Sony Music, so it wasn't just the tech people doing stuff. The when it came to building the portfolio, they handed it out to people who actually had experience working with creative stuff, and I think that
Mm,
that's a big part of it. I also think part of it's lucky that Sega fucked up so unbelievably bad that it helped their case. Yeah.
yeah, that'll help. But
I actually, yeah, like I feel like a lot of Sony winning in the game industry sometimes is just, with the exception of PS3, all their consoles have had their competitors fuck up massively. Or in
Making
the
them look
case,
good.
yeah, or in the case of like the current generation, Nintendo is kind of off in its own little bubble. They
right.
don't
Yeah.
compete directly anymore. So yeah, that shit's wild. Ken Kutaragi, and yeah. So fun fact about Ken Kutaragi though, he left Sony in '07, saying that the PS3 was one of the most stressful things he ever worked on.
Sure.
And he is estimated to cost Sony billions in losses because of the PS3. And he did remain as Sony's senior technology advisor, and but a lot of people kind of remember him as saying crazy shit during the early PS3 days,
hmm
because I'm sure you remember. Oh yeah, people work a second job to buy a PS3.
Right.
Um, Sony, god
Good.
damn.
I
Good.
mean, with
Good.
that
Good
price
job.
tag back then, yeah.
Oh yeah, well like everyone's talking about the $700 Pro now, but like the PS3 adjusted for inflation costs more than a PS5 Pro. Like that's nuts to think about.
Yeah.
But
Bonkers.
Yes, that is nuts.
yeah, that's like so like $600 in 2006 money. Um, yeah, he also said some shit about Xbox. Kutaragi labeled the 360 as just an Xbox 1.5, and they were only competing with the PlayStation 2. Um,
Bitch.
yep.
Roasted.
um, yeah. And then Kutaragi admitted that the shortage of PlayStation 3 consoles to North America and Japan was, you know, also causing the postpone of the European launch for PS3. Yeah, he had a lot of shit to say. Like his idea was to make the PS3 the hub of the living room, and like everything was based on the PS3 and its architecture and all this different shit. Yeah. Also, apparently, his leadership of the consumer electronics department was not successful. So,
Great.
um, and they ended up falling behind competitors such as Samsung in the LCD market. So yeah,
And
you know,
PlayStation.
it's wild, man. You look at the history of this company, and it truly is fascinating. And this guy was obviously you hear every story about him. You like he's kind of an asshole, but he's also kind of a genius. Because what he figured out way back in the early 80s was, okay, the way computers are progressing, we will be able to do 3D visuals in a home console in 10 years. And he was right. He was 100%
Right.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And he also, another fun thing about Ken Kutaragi is they said there's no way that you could do full 3D on a home console without it being absurdly expensive. And he went around and he's after that, at E3 they said, "Oh, it's gonna be $300." And they went around and they showed a demo of a full 3D T-Rex and like moving and shit. And that sold a lot of developers, a lot of publishers
Sure.
and developers. Like, and they were asking them questions about like, could this do 3D? Like, can it do this? Can it do that? And funnily enough, Sega actually ended up selling a fuck ton of PlayStations because Virtua Fighter came out. Virtua Fighter came
Ah,
out and it was super popular and it showed 3D in a video game in full. And then Tekken, they used Tekken to sell the PlayStation in a big way. Like a lot of people who bought PlayStation ones early on were like Tekken, this is it.
sure.
So
Yes.
a little bit of history, a little bit of context as we approach that anniversary.
And they're still on top.
They have been on top 4 out of 5 generations, man.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy. Like and that's probably why they have a lot of hubris right now. And I'm really hoping Microsoft I'm really hoping when we get that generational reset in, most people are expecting 4 years, 2028. Um, I'm hoping that they kind of get punched in the mouth a little bit. I'm hoping that Microsoft is cooking up something that like is really compelling and interesting, and will kind of put Sony in a little more of a desperate position
It would be
versus
nice.
versus right now where they're very much obviously just like, whatever.
Yep.
I do think that Sony understands managing a portfolio better than Microsoft still, but you know.
Right.
Anyway, so with all that in mind, we have one last news story for them.
Okay.
This one is modern day Sony and not great.
All
So,
right.
God of War Ragnarok requires a PSN account to play it on PC.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, people are not pleased with this. Um, and what this is, and there was a modder who made a mod to remove the requirement, but he took it down. Um, and they reached out to find out why. And he said, "Hello, my personal decision because the mod has gotten too much attention. Even IGN and PC Gamer wrote an article about it. Thus, I thought it'd be better to remove it from public to avoid any potential threats from Sony side, even though the project never modified anything in memory related to Sony products, but better safe than sorry. I'm sorry that it happened, but I cannot really put myself into risk since it was unclear. Hopefully you understand. Peace."
Yeah.
Um, I one, I can't blame the guy for protecting himself. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
get it. Do what you got to do. Don't put yourself in a bad position.
Exactly.
Um, and from the Sony side, I think it is fucking lame that you're doing this, but every publisher on PC does this shit. Every AAA publisher at least does this shit. Rockstar
Yeah.
does it, EA does it, even Larian does it. Larian has a launcher as part of Baldur's Gate 3. CD Projekt does it. Like this is not common. When it happened during Helldiver, the part of it that sucks ass, in my opinion, is the fact that PSN is only linked to certain regions. So like certain regions can't buy the game, or they have to lie about what region they're in,
Yep.
which also sucks ass. Um,
Yes.
but I also get it from the business standpoint of PlayStation, because the only reason that these PC ports are happening are to try and convince you to buy a PlayStation. That's why these are happening.
Right.
This is their mindset, and I actually think it's brilliant. I've said it's brilliant from the fucking beginning. Um, which is okay. We're gonna put out God of War Ragnarok in 2022, and all the people who are PlayStation fans are willing to buy a PlayStation are gonna buy it, play it, love it, great. 2 years later, we're gonna put out the PC version, and the people who will never buy a PlayStation or just weren't willing to buy it for that game are going to go ahead, play it, try it, hopefully love it, and two things happen. One, we're making money on the game again from people who aren't going to buy a PlayStation. Two, the game will hopefully be good enough to when we do God of War, whatever the next God of War is called, people will buy a PlayStation for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you're effectively getting everyone. You're getting the you're getting the never PlayStation crowd. You're getting the people who you're getting the crowd who already owns a PlayStation, and you're maybe getting some people to buy a PlayStation. So,
Right. Yep.
so I get it.
God, I get it, but
Which is probably
it.
why they aren't expanding PC in those markets, because those markets don't sell PlayStations. So they're like,
Yeah.
why bother?
Sucks.
It does. It does. Yeah. So, um, anyway, so that's bummer for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Bummer for a lot of people, but
yes,
yeah.
honestly, the biggest loser here is the Steam Deck crowd, because the current Sony overlay doesn't work on Linux, so you know this mod was making it so you could run the game on Steam Deck.
Yep.
Which I'm sure and then we talked about it last week. Rockstar did some bullshit where their anti-cheat doesn't support Linux either. So
Right.
um, just support Linux, you fucks. Anyway, uh, so hey, PlayStation or not PlayStation? So Microsoft, Sony, they're being like, look at our fancy new tech and hardware. PC is like, yo, bro, the 5080 is going to be $1,200. Are you ready to buy a new graphics card for $1,200?
Fuck you.
Uh,
Uh,
One person is not going this route though. One company, that is Nintendo. They in a recent interview with Miyamoto, he said, "I hope that they will understand Nintendo and not get involved in what is sometimes called the game war. such as high specs and how to improve the performance of game consoles, he continued. Nintendo will continue to make products that are uniquely Nintendo using various technologies available in the world today, and we will continue to create not only games but also entertainment content. So Nintendo for Switch 2 looks like that as what they have done the past 4 generations at this point. Hey, this thing is not going to be a tech powerhouse. This thing is going to be existing affordable tech. Uh, don't expect something wild.
Right.
So, um, I don't know. I think that they might have done it a bit early, but they made the right call doing this. And I think
Yeah.
that I think within 2 generations everyone's going to do this because prices on components are not going down in a big
Right.
way, which is a big part of why PS5 has not cut price yet and Xbox has not cut price yet outside of the
Hmm.
occasional sale because component prices have not gone down at all. So, and because component prices have not gone down, that means that the price of consoles that are made of those components cannot go down, which means game graphics are going to kind of stay in the same place. And they're probably going to stay there for a fucking while, because, like, if you look at the GPU that the PlayStation 5 Pro is based on, that's a $400 graphics card. For
Hmm.
just the graphics card. Now, what it costs to make, probably a couple $100. But, like, $400 graphics card, and, even the old thing that was in these things were, probably $300 at this point. Computer parts are not going down in price either. Like, let's see, how much is a 4080 Super right now? Because that thing had a price cut. So if you want a 4080 Super, yeah, you're looking at $1,000 even.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's just that, like, Nintendo realized almost 2 decades ago that the graphics race was not, you know, going to be a thing forever. And I think that we're finally hitting the point where that's we're at that point for almost everyone else. I
It's
think.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sony has the a bit of leeway to say like, hey, we're gonna take the higher end road, but like after they got front row seats to Concord's development and release, like they got to be thinking this too.
I think that Sony is only going to throw the big money and big graphics at their at known studios. Like Insomniac will get the $200 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that Naughty Dog will get the $200 million budget.
Yes.
I don't think that anyone outside of that is going to get that kind of budget. So yeah, that's what I think at least. I could be wrong, but um, yeah, like and I think that on the hardware end, like Anthony and I did a video about this months ago, where I think more people are going to start to go hybrids and portable. I think Nintendo's ahead of the curve on that because what's going to happen is, you know, graphics cards come out every 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
About two and a half. And according to the leaks about the 5080, it's a giant power hog. Like in some cases it requires a different power connector. And you look at like how the prices, like we said earlier, are not coming down, and you look at the way that most studios, there are exceptions, CD Projekt, Rockstar, Sony first party, are using all of this horsepower. Most aren't. In fact, most of them are just being lazy and not optimizing their games on console or PC. So all
Mm.
of those things together make it so I think we're gonna get another session like PS6, Xbox Series 360Q, whatever the fuck they call it. Those are gonna be big, expensive, $600-700 spec bump type things. But I think the one after that, unless something drastically changes in computing, of course.
Mm.
But if something doesn't drastically change in computing, then at that point, um, then yeah, at that point, I think it is very much going to be we're going to shrink down, we're going to be portable, we're going to try and do less heat. The only people making $200 million plus games are, like I said, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Rockstar, the kind of people where you know for sure you're going to get your money back and you're going to get an
Mm-hmm.
amazing experience out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
That's what I hope. It makes it's the logical conclusion given the ballooning budgets and the more risk averse people are getting, the people with the money are getting. Um, I hope they do it because that would mean more games coming out quicker from these talented developers.
I think that the only thing that would stop it is a massive change in like the computing space. Like we figured out how to shrink the die even more very efficiently, and that you're getting a massive power boost for not a big cost increase.
Right.
That'd be the only way. If that happens, then great. We're entirely fucked and wrong. But it's
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, because and you notice like people are holding on to hardware longer. Like you pull up the Steam hardware survey, and you pull up the Steam hardware survey, and you're looking at the most popular cards are at least a couple years old in most cases. Yeah, the most popular card is a 3060, man, followed by a 4060 laptop. 60 like you don't get to even a mid-range card until like 8 spots down, and you don't get to a mid-range card from this generation until about 14, 15 spots down the list. It's just not a priority for most people if they can play the game well enough. Like it needs to look good and run well and be competent. But most people are not like me and Ninja and have mental sickness and see fuzzy textures and blurriness and go, ugh, fuck this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people don't have this mental disease.
Right. Yes. Yes. Correct.
um, So yeah, I think that's smart on Nintendo. I think other people are starting to catch on to this. I think the Series S was a very good example of this, actually. I think you look at the Series S and you see it's getting most games. Yes, they
Hmm.
look worse and they have less visual niceties, but you can still play the games. They look decent enough. And I think outside of Baldur's Gate 3 not having split screen because it just can't do it. Most of their Xbox counterparts, the Series S counterparts look good. They look good. They run good. They're in a good spot.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, yeah. All right. Well, last news story here before we go and move on to what we've been playing. After Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, Capcom has asked, "Hey, what would you like to see more deluxe remasters like this in the future? Deluxe remasters defined as remasters with improved playability and updated graphics, including new 3D models. And then, if not, the survey asked players whether they prefer a full remake over a deluxe remaster. And then they asked if there's any particular series that they would like to see remastered. Options include Lost Planet, Devil May Cry, Power Stone, Resident Evil, Onimusha, Darkstalkers, and Okami. And they also asked if they want to see more Dead Rising games released, and if so, what form. Brand new, remake, or deluxe remaster.
Um, I mean, people aren't going to say no um, to more remasters of games that they love,
Um,
um, especially for franchises that are old and have not been gotten a recent update.
Literally every game on that list, except for Onimusha, is something that I would be so fucking stoked for a deluxe remaster.
Right.
um, oh, modern day Okami, Devil May Cry,
Right.
dude, Lost Planet
Yeah.
remastered, all this planet. Oh,
Yeah.
dear God, Capcom, please, fucking please, hello.
um, the question is definitely, yeah, the remastered, like, all right, make this look better and run better and all that. And then full on remake is like a whole other,
That's yeah, that's a
that's a whole new game.
Yeah, like that. Like you look at RE4 remake, for example, and yes, that is a straight up whole ass video game.
And it's like,
Um,
all right, what games get that treatment?
you know, I think you would have to save it for like the biggest of the big. I
Right.
think you'd have to save it for like Okami, DMC3. But like most of their back catalog, like yeah, dude, totally do this. Give it the RE engine treatment. Give it the the updated controls, and like yeah, put it out. I'd be stoked to do Devil May Cry 3 in this engine. Same with Okami. Like fuck yeah, do it, do it,
Yeah. Yep.
do it.
You know, it'd be funny. This just popped in my head. I
What?
wanted to do an expansion pack to Street Fighter 6,
Uh
and it is just Street Fighter 2. Like it is Street Fighter 6 modern maps of the Street Fighter 2 maps, and then like your abilities are just like in that mode. Like the Street Fighter 6 move set doesn't work. It is they redid Street Fighter 2's move set for everyone.
I think that would be a really fun mode for Street Fighter 6.
Yes,
Yeah.
And I think what you could do also is do it for like each one too. So like 3 and
exactly.
4 and
Yep.
5.
Aaron's already got this
I,
whole idea
I
figured
think that
out,
it
and
would
it's
be
great.
expensive and time consuming, and
That's the
they're
thing.
they're probably better off spending that time on improving Street Fighter 6 even more. But
That's the problem. Yes,
but
it's
it
it's
would
a
be
fun idea though.
yes, absolutely. I don't know. When's Street Fighter's next anniversary? That could be a fun mode. Um,
Mm,
fair. Anyway, hey,
yeah.
that's the news. Hey,
Yay, the news.
the
That news ended up being more
news.
than we thought it would be.
We did, yeah. No, it was definitely a busier week, as it turned out. A lot to say about what's going on with PlayStation. What is up, Otaku Man 5000?
Yo, it's
Hey,
been a
what's good,
while.
bud?
Yeah. So I think that but anyway, we're on to what we've been playing. Hey, M.
Huh?
You got I saw that you got Astrobot.
I
You
did.
we're
Oh
doing
my gosh, I'm so happy that I got it.
real quick in the chat. We're doing good, man. We're doing the show. We're talking about what we've been playing now. We're gonna go deep dive some new games or some old games in some
Ease.
cases. Yeah, you bought Astrobot. I highly recommended this after my initial weekend with it. What do you think so far? How far are you?
Yeah, I'm only a couple hours in, so I haven't discovered a whole lot. I'm in like that gorilla nebula sort of thing.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'm having such a blast with this. And the fact that I actually played Astro's Playroom and got the special bots
Mhm.
leading up to this,
Mhm.
getting those guys in this game was so
I
worth it.
I
Oh my
I
gosh.
I love how that this game. So like the first, not the first Astrobot, but the Astro's Playroom that comes with the system. Is a like nostalgia trip for the hardware and a little bit of the software. And then this one is just, yo, dude, look at all the dope franchises PlayStation has had. And I love like, did you unlock the gotcha machine
In Playroom or in this?
in this?
No, not yet.
Okay, you're gonna love the gotcha machine because that's where you spend the coins you've been collecting, and it unlocks like accessories for characters, and then you go interact with them and they do shit in the world, in the little
It
hub world.
uh
So like for example, like it gives Snake like a cardboard box. Yeah, and yeah, it does a lot of fun stuff with it. Comment in the chat. Astrobot is so fun. Yes, it is. We're gonna talk about it more.
uh
Sorry, go ahead though. Okay, so I have a question. Are you like me? And if you see you miss something when you get back in the level select screen, you're like, nope, we're going back in the level and we're finding whatever we
I
missed.
am. I am
Yep.
exactly like that because
Mm-hmm. Yep.
um in like that ice cream area in that
Yes.
first world, I found the void
Yep.
and I found a bot that needed to be saved, but I couldn't get to him. So I'm like, I gotta get back to him. I gotta.
I, there
It's
was a
driving me
bot.
nuts.
the bot that I missed in that ice cream level was the one that's like buried under the ice cream in like the area the where you have to use the like snow like ball thing to break the ice wall. Like he was
Oh
buried under
yeah,
the snow, and I'm just like, God fucking damn it, are you serious?
I know.
Um,
I'm just like fucking shit, driving me nuts.
uh,
But no, I'm very much like that. If I like miss some things or I miss a bot or anything, I as soon as I'm done with that level, I will run back in.
I will say I do like when you go back to levels, they have the little like blinking thing to tell you like if you're getting hotter or
Oh,
colder.
the one that you get from the birdhouse in the beginning of the level.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, you're so helpful. I love you. Oh my God."
Yeah, yes, that thing is awesome. Like it turns like it turns what would be like fuck, I missed a bot. Okay, got to double back, and you double back, and you're just instead of having to comb everywhere, you just have to comb a
That
small
little
specific
thing
area.
will like
It,
guide you
yeah,
in that general direction, and it's
mm,
thank
yeah,
you, Team Asobi. Thank you.
um, yeah, the platforming is super tight. The controls feel great. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
very much
um,
a continuation from Playroom, and I'm just
th-
job well done, guys.
yes, this feels like they took the ideas from Playroom and really just blew it all the way up. You know,
Yeah,
I'm debating if I want to get the platinum for this or not. I'm leaning towards yes. I've really enjoyed the platforming. I've really enjoyed the vibe. The music is catchy as hell.
it's great. Like, just want to just vibe in with the whole thing, and it's it's great. I just can't stop gushing about it.
Is there a special bot you've gotten so far that you really dig?
I've only let's see, what special bots have I unlocked? Ratchet and Rivet from Rift
Rift
Apart.
Apart, yeah,
Um, Solid Snake from Metal Gear.
it's a good one. Did you get the Psycho Mantis
I
one?
haven't gotten the is that the one with the mask?
Yeah, that's Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, I have gotten that one.
Okay,
Um, obviously my four specials from Playroom, so Ape Escape, Gran Turismo, Returnal, and I want to say it's Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. Oh yeah,
Um,
the Hunter. Yeah, Aaron, they put a
yeah,
Bloodborne Hunter in it.
Nice.
it's great.
Well,
Um,
this goes back to that point we had a couple of days ago where we were talking about just like, man, all these franchises you have in here, huh?
Yep.
So,
Isn't that interesting? Mm.
mhm.
and also while we're on the nostalgia trip, it is also Insomniac's 30th anniversary this year.
Oh,
Oh
huh.
man.
So
Yeah,
happy
Ah,
anniversary to those guys.
yeah,
yeah.
they're kind of best in the biz right now.
I mean,
Anyway,
um, but yeah, I'm probably gonna play more on that after this in between here and family dinner tonight. So
All right.
yeah.
Nice. Woo.
this on tight.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, did you play anything else besides Playroom? Or not Playroom, Astrobot. So,
No, because I worked 6 days this week and didn't really have time to play video games,
Ugh.
except for yesterday.
I feel you. I've been slammed at work this week and doing house stuff. I'm finally getting the office ready for the TV and all the other stuff, and then we're finally putting stuff on the walls soon. No more barren
Nice.
Nice.
walls. So yeah. All right. Well. So that's that. All right. Well, I played a little bit of that, but mostly I put some time in the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. I have noticed that I have trended towards playing Marvel One and Children of the Atom more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's just because the rosters you have to see a little more matchups like versus like Marvel Two. You either like like you end up in a lot of matches where it's like you'll go into the match and it's like Sentinel Storm, Doctor Doom, Sentinel Storm, Iron Man, Magneto, Iron Man, Doom, and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ. You
Hmm.
know, you know, there is a little bit of like if you pick someone that's not one of the top six, most of the time you'll get someone who is willing to play nice as well. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun with all the games though. Like the game has an option where you can have it match make for multiple different games, and I will just have it match make for all six, and I'll just play whatever it gives me.
Wow,
Yeah, I'll just be like, yeah, sure, fuck it, I'll play Children of the Atom right now. I'll play Marvel
that's
superheroes.
fun. I
Why
like
not?
that.
Yeah, turns out I'm pretty decent at X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
naturally good at X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Hey,
Huh.
if it works, it works, right?
Yep.
I run Ken and Cyclops. So
Okay.
Talk about a power team.
I am not. Cyclops is not anywhere near my favorite X-Men, but I love the way he plays in these games.
I
Yeah.
see.
He is annoying as shit to play against. It's like, do you want to see a upwards fucking vertical Hadouken? Because he does that.
Good lord.
An anti-air Hadouken is so fucking broken. Um,
Sounds like it.
yeah,
God.
because it's his laser eyes.
Just-
Just you know. So yeah, I put some more time into that. It's been WoW. The season started last week. Our raid team is 4 out of 8 heroic. I think within the next 2 to 3 weeks we'll probably have the full raid cleared. Um, I am over halfway to Keystone Master and Keystone Hero actually. I'm finally starting to get into the big boy keys. And it's mainly a time thing because Mythic Plus, since it's timed, I don't want to like have to get up in the middle of the run and botch the run. So I need to make
Hmm.
sure I have 30 to 45 uninterrupted minutes of okay, let's go do this dungeon.
Right.
But I've been chipping away at that. I'm finally getting into the big boy keys. Um, I think that this season feels a little easier in terms of those big boy keys because here's why is in Mythic Plus they have this thing called affixes that like they add additional mechanics to bosses and trash.
Hmm.
And they made it so those happen later. So instead of getting one at like +5 and plus like I think it was 10, now they happen at +7 and plus I think the other one is 10. But they've also added a thing that's kind of like an affix, but instead of if you do it wrong, something bad happens. It's if you do it wrong, something bad happens, but if you do it right, good stuff happens, like you get a big buff for 20 seconds.
Okay.
Ooh.
So it's this really cool thing where the one last week was called Zalatath's Bargain, where you have to CC all these little like stun or interrupt or knock back these 10 different orbs, and each orb that you knock back within a certain time gives you a 2% haste buff up to 20%. Just like, and then if you do, and whatever ones you miss interrupting, that goes to whatever trash or boss you're fighting at the time.
Okay.
The one this week is she'll spawn in a bunch of orbs, and then they all start floating towards the boss, and you have to grab them before they touch the boss or the trash, or else they heal and do more damage for the length of the buff. Versus you getting it and you heal and do more damage for the length of the buff. Um,
Damn.
so it actually is really cool where it encourages people to not like it actually really encourages people to do the mechanic because you're not only getting punished if you don't do it or fuck it up, you're getting a huge buff to your damage and healing and your everything if you do it, and it's a lot of fun. Like when you see like everyone in your group go to grab the orbs as they float towards the boss, and then you just see everyone's damage go up by like 10% for 20 seconds. It's awesome. It's a super cool mechanic. I love it. I hope they keep doing it. I've been saying for years that they need to make it so these kind of mechanics are not just hindrances but buffs sometimes. I'm glad they finally did. Another big change they made and not a big change, but the thing that's really cool about it thematically is it's all based around the current villain. So like her whole thing is she's like in the shadows influencing everything and playing people against each other, and she spawns into the dungeon and comments on it. What's really fun is if you don't time the key, like your timer runs out and you're just finishing for loot, she mocks you Team Fortress style.
Uh,
So like,
that's
oh,
great.
you ran out of time, So that's been really cool. Yeah, it's a really fun season. It's a really fun season. They did it. They did a great job with this expansion. The story was great. The raid's been a lot of fun. The professions are basically its own fucking end game now. Like legitimately, I've been doing tailoring on my mage, and holy shit, um, my god, um, like it legitimately feels like its own crafting game built into the game now. Like
Wow.
it is. It actually might even be more in depth than Final Fantasies at this point. Um, it's nuts. It's at minimum that deep. It got me to the point where just like I think I'm just gonna make bags because
Right.
I don't want to put up with this much. I want to go kill shit.
Exactly.
I want to go murder. I want to go be a murder hobo. Um. So yeah, that's that. I've been really enjoying it. I'm hopefully gonna be done with all of my goals by mid October. So that way, by the time that the 20th anniversary event comes out, and I'm because the 20th anniversary event is getting a bonus raid. It's getting an extra raid. We're getting an extra raid, and it's also getting an outfit for each class that you have to unlock by doing the event. And it's meant to last like 2 months. It's going to be the .5 patch. So so yeah. Um,
Well,
and that's
good.
kind.
I'm glad WoW's in a good place.
Yes, it is. They kind of fixed the only real complaint that I had with Dragonflight, which was like the story felt kind of weak. And this easily fixes it, no problems. The story is the strongest it's been since Legion. It's fantastic. Same with the side quest. There is a side quest, Aaron, that I think I sent you the text for that was absolutely amazing. It was and now I'm arachnophobic. Um,
We.
yeah, it's so goddamn funny. But yeah, the quests in the Spider Zone are so unbelievably fucked up, but fantastic. So, yeah, no.
That's great. All right.
Yeah, so you fell into a ZZZ nest, and I'm listening to you and I'm talking, but I'm also walking away from the camera to get water.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's see. So I've been away for a while. During that time, I intended to play Dawn Trail. I intended to play Final Fantasy 14. I brought the controller along, and
Yeah, you had a
the
laptop.
I
You
brought
were
my
ready to
laptop
go.
with the MMO controller and everything, and
Okay.
I had like 3 weeks to do it.
Mhm.
I never opened it. I don't know. I'm
Why
just not.
not?
I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I'm blaming it on there are other games that are piquing my interest more right now than going back into Final Fantasy.
Okay,
And that's
fair
just what
enough.
it is. Like again, like there's just so many good games out, and there's just interesting stuff happening
Yeah.
that like I want to go experience it all. And Dawn Trail's like I'm gonna go experience Final Fantasy 14. I like Final Fantasy 14, but it doesn't help that I'm at where I'm at right now is right before it's before Dawn Trail. It's a big boss fight,
Mm.
and I'm just like, all right, I gotta boot up and I gotta get ready to do this boss fight. And then just that's I guess that's just enough.
That's
So
just
yeah,
fair.
I don't know. At some point I'm gonna do it. I swear to you. But so I didn't play any video games on my Montana trip, and then
That
I had a
makes sense.
California trip, and so let's say I played a little bit of Helldivers as usual. Helldivers continues to be tons of fun.
I,
Um,
I, I, on the Helldivers note, I if the game is still around and popular come December, that might be my Christmas gift to me. You and Anthony is buying us all Warhammer.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
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 So anyway,
Um.
continue.
So then I had access to a PS5,
You
logged my account
did.
in, and said, okay, there's a number of games on here. I think Ghost of Tsushima was one. I was like, thinking about it. And at the beginning, I just wanted to just jump in and do some stuff. So what I actually did is I played the Superstar mode of college football.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a good time with
So
that?
I wouldn't recommend playing as a halfback in Superstar mode.
Depends on
That
what
was what
team
I
you go
decided to
to,
do.
but okay. Yeah.
Well, it a lot of the problem was that I would get 40% of the plays of the offensive plays, and then it would take me out for the rest of it, which is a problem when I'm clearly watching my team lose the national championship, and when I go in, I have to audible my way into good plays every time, and then they
Oof.
take me out, and then they lose the lead I gave them. It was a problem, but I'm more of a casual.
Mhm.
I love football, but I'm a casual football game fan.
All
Like
right.
I prefer more arcadey experiences. Um, so playing this, I definitely saw improvements. The game just looked better. It seemed like they really showed some care for the college experience and all these different,
What what what
areas.
what college did your dude go to?
I went to like 4 different teams.
Oh fuck. Okay.
I was constantly jumping around trying to get my character into like the best, position for the most play. So I don't remember my freshman or sophomore teams. One of them was Fresno State. I forget the other one. Um, and then junior year was Clemson because Clemson had a decent shot at like getting into some national championship stuff, and they needed a halfback. So I said, all right. They put me in a halfback too, and I could like battle for one. So I did that.
Okay.
We got to the national championship, and then lost it because they would not put me in.
Who did you lose to?
I lost to Georgia,
Oh, of course, fucking Georgia. Okay.
and then I went into the off season. Georgia needed a first halfback. I said, fine, fuck Clemson for not putting me in the national championship. We're going in.
Can't beat them, join them.
And so then we did well, got to the national championship for my senior year, and they put me in for 40% of the plays, and I had to save them every single fucking time. And then the last couple drives, they didn't put me in hardly at all, and we lost again. And I was like, I'm going to transfer this character to Madden so I can fucking do some shit. What? Oh my god, that was way infuriating. And then that's how I found out that like I had not played Madden in a while, and so they disabled my EA account. And
Aw.
the work you have to go through to reinstate your EA account was fucking ridiculous, and so I never did it. It's a ridiculous process where they will disable your account and assign it an EA disabled account email address. And so like I have to actually write a letter to EA support to be like, "Hey, can you give me my fucking account back?" And so, and I don't want to do that. My desire for Madden did not overcome that. So my character was a fantastic running back, became Uncle Rico, wishing he had been put in for the championship game, and is now doing real estate or something. I don't know. He didn't go pro.
How
Um,
did you like all the college stuff? Like, go to the
so it
party
was,
or? Uh,
yeah. No, I was a bookworm, a 3.9 GPA. Didn't have to do school senior year. Um, didn't cheat, didn't do any of that stuff. I was playing by the book because the whole goal was to try and turn pro. And man, what a sour college experience for my character.
I have
Just
to, I have had a lot
oof.
of people with that experience. I haven't played that mode yet. I want to. I haven't installed on the living room Xbox. I might hop back in, cause yeah, like I haven't played that mode yet, but I keep seeing clips where it's just like I've been a backup quarterback for all 5 years, but I got a 4.0 GPA, you know.
I will say, like,
Road
I
to
didn't pick
glory, more
like
like road to the workforce.
that's what it feels like. And to be fair, like I felt like I did really well because I didn't pick like a blue chip character, like, oh, this person comes from like football royalty and he's gonna get the royal treatment. It's like
Yeah,
I didn't pick someone who was talentless, but it was like middle of the road. It was like, all right, I gotta work to get to the first team, but I'm gonna do it. And I
yeah.
fucking did. But man, that mode told me like be a quarterback. They're not going to sit you down for half the fucking drive, if you're
Yeah.
first pick quarterback. So,
Yeah, so the
um,
problem with quarterback is becoming a starter. That's what that's,
right.
you know.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah.
it was fun. Again, as a casual football sim fan, that is a that is a football sim game. They did it.
Mhm.
They made one of those.
They sure
It's a
did.
little different from Madden, in ways that I appreciate, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I had a good time.
Yeah, I want to buy Madden this year. I'm just kind of waiting for Black Friday to roll around.
Sure.
That's kind of where I'm at with it, cuz like I played the trial for a solid 10 hours. And I enjoyed it. Like I had a great time with it, but they improve the off the field stuff is mostly the same, other than some really good tweaks. But the on the field stuff is so much better, and I feel a part of that is a product of college football finally being around again. They had to step their game
Right.
up a bit.
Yep.
So, yeah, no,
Yeah.
okay.
So did that.
That was college football. All right, go on.
College football.
Yep.
And then I forget what happened. I was working on trying to learn some coding and things like that. And
Oh
then
shit! What language? What language? I need to know.
well, I mean, not like language, like right now I'm like trying to learn web development, so it's not even
Mm.
languages at this point. But eventually it'll be Python. Like that'll be the goal as far as programming languages.
Let me know. I'll see
Um,
if I can get you a discount at my work.
sure, yeah.
uh,
um,
yeah.
yeah, that's part of a whole other thing I'm trying to do. But in the
Mhm.
middle of that, the worst thing that could have possibly happened for me trying to work towards that is I had the errant thought, oh yeah, I haven't been playing Zenless Zone Zero because I don't have the time.
Mhm.
I have the time now. Let's boot it up and see. Let's get through this slog of the beginning portion and find out this other area, this other part of the game that I don't know about.
Mhm.
And I fell in, and I fell in, and I fell, and I fell, and I fell, and I fell.
All
Um,
right. You fell and you fell and you fell and you fell. All
and I'm here
right.
now. I have Zenless Zone Zero booted up right now. It's just sitting on the screen, and I'm looking at these characters, and yeah. So Zenless Zone Zero, we talked about it briefly before, but I think we both kind of got stuck in that beginning portion of like, I see something here, but I hope it's more than this.
Okay.
Um, so what I will say is, it is and it isn't. It if you did not enjoy the gameplay, like literally just like the gameplay as it was, you're probably not going to enjoy Zenless Zone Zero. What it does to expand on the gameplay as you experience it is, one, of course, they have different characters, so there's different abilities, different gameplay loops, however slight, between them. But it's always going to be like running around, a few different rooms that get locked off, and you got to fight some bad guys, and then you unlock the next room, and you keep going
Mhm.
until you reach the big baddie or whatever. And sometimes you don't have the big baddie,
Mhm.
or it's the TV like board game puzzle thing that they have going on, which in this recent update they've kind of dialed back on a bit, but it's still there. And if you didn't enjoy those, that's the game. Like where
Uh,
it gets deeper is they try to introduce systems with these characters. Like, here are all these buffs. Here's all these different ways to buff these abilities in different ways and how they work with each other. And then you get sucked into the game of like, all right, how can I optimize this? Who works well with what? And how do I work that into my combat? and that's what kind of pulls you in.
Okay. So yeah, that's about what I expected from my initial looks.
So,
Um,
I have, so for example, just to share like what this is,
mhm.
they have a character called Billy Kid.
Yeah, he was by far my favorite character for my 2 hours I played. I loved
Billy
him to death.
Kid, as far as I saw on this one site that was offering, like, there are always like random sites that become the encyclopedia of
Yeah.
a game, and it's so this one. Zenless Zone Zero has a few, but this one was Games 8, and they held a poll for most popular character, and by far, exponentially, Billy Kid is the most popular character in Zenless Zone Zero.
Yeah,
He
because he
is
looks
the
awesome as hell.
he
Like,
looks awesome as
absolutely.
hell. He's a Starlight Knight, like Super Sentai nerd,
Hmm.
and he's like Deadpool coded. Like
Yes.
he's just a fun character. Fantastic voice acting. The voice acting is some, better, more good than bad, but there's some weird stuff. Billy Kid is always on point. It's just fun. Um, Here's the problem. Uh,
Hmm.
Billy Kid, despite being in a poll like ridiculously popular more than any other character, they clearly, because this is a gotcha game
Hmm.
and he is a character you get at the beginning,
Hmm.
they tuned him in a way that it is very clear his purpose is to clear out smaller guys. And
Mm.
this means nothing when the end game content is fighting like a couple powerful people.
Mm.
And so when you get to the end game, he is damn near useless. Because a
Okay.
lot of his moves are about like sliding in and doing a spinning move, shooting a bunch of guys. And here's a big example. One of the things, there are a number of things you can upgrade on your character. One of them is their passive core skill, and you have to upgrade this 6 times. And they have like this mid-tier like material you need to earn using battles that you fuel with your battery, which, if you've ever played a free-to-play mobile game, you're familiar with the battery. That's like you got 240 points, you use them up in like 3 fights. Okay, you need to wait till tomorrow for it to recharge, or you buy something to refuel it.
Love it. Yeah.
um, so you have this mid-tier material to upgrade through a few of those fights, and then they have their end game material, high,
IGN got some hands-on time.
material you need to get to upgrade in the higher stuff, and that's like end game content. You can earn like, one or two of those a week or something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers at this moment because I'm not in the end game. I've just like peeked in. Um, and then Billy's core skill is, hey, if you hold down crouching shot, the damage increases over time. The problem is crouching shot is you hold X and he sits still and just fires endless bullets. If the enemy moves, you have to readjust and you have to re-earn the buff again. So what this means is in this action game, to get the most out of Billy in terms of damage for a lot of these characters, you hold X and you sit still and you let the numbers go up. And like, this fucking sucks for this character that is like spinning around doing Vanquish shit. Not quite Vanquish shit, but some Vanquish shit.
I get your
And
point.
like, there's some cool stuff you can be doing in this game, and they specifically tune this character to like, all right, if you really need to fight against like if you're gonna take this character in the end game, you have to hold X and do nothing. It's like, well, great, you're incentivizing me to not play the coolest looking character.
Mm.
Uh, but so you could say this is a masterful gambit because they want everyone trying all the characters and wanting different characters. And here's this character that is by far the most popular and is a starting character in the game. We kind of need to make him suck for anything other than clearing out enemies in story mode. So yeah, there's that. Billy the Kid, Billy Kid, you could probably tune something to make him work in endgame, but I don't know. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try.
Okay.
Anyway, so this game, the combat is, yeah, very much DMC light, Bayonetta light, like just very light, not super deep stuff. The deepness is all the different mods that you get, and like You got W engines, and you got drive discs, and they all come up with different stat buffs and different effects, and it's something that you need to keep in mind to get the most out of your character. You got your core passive skill, and then you have upgrades to damage to your basic attack, your strong attack, your dash attack, your assist attack, and then your ultimate.
Gotcha.
They all have different. Those are all different stat buffs, and then there are different things that are like altering what they do and how they can work with other people. On top of this, each character has a damage type and a different role. So you've got in your support role, you've got just support in general and defense. One adds defense or shields or whatever, and then support is offering support in either like buffing people or health or whatever. I haven't seen anyone that's like traditional, like I'm healing you. They kind of save that for your little NPC Bang Boo that follows you. You can get the avocado guy, and he'll just throw health occasionally. Then you have your like attack. You're here to attack and do damage. And then they have stun and anomaly, which stun is for stunning enemies so they stop attacking. You can do your damage. And then they have anomaly, which is if you overload damage of a specific type on an enemy, they will take on extra damage, which incentivizes you to like have you can have a team of just one type of attack, fire or ice or electric, and that will more often create this extra damage once you get to a certain point. An anomaly is this class that buffs that for the others. So you could pair them with. You could pair a physical anomaly with other physical attackers and supports, or you can have one anomaly that is boosting, 2 ice types around you. Enemies have strengths, have resistances and weaknesses, and so that's something to keep in mind. Incentivizes you to, as you expand on this roster, you are creating different teams for different scenarios. One killer one right now is there are enemies that are only weak to ice and ether. And where I'm at right now, if you're only playing free to play, you have 1 ice and 1 ether. And so these 2 characters are essential for leveling up until you unlock someone else. So there's a lot to keep in mind there. So as you go in and you're playing more and more, you are assembling teams for different situations, and you are assembling drive engines and drive discs and setups to better get certain people working well with each other. And so then it becomes this juggling act of, all right, I have only this amount of resources, this amount of time to play the game. I'm going to funnel here, and then I'm just going to keep building these characters up over time
or you just bring out the credit card. Bring out the credit card.
Well, then you bring out the credit card, and it's still a chance. Like, you pay money, and it's still like, okay, you get more spins. Good luck.
Yes, this is why I hate this shit.
So here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. I've dumped over 40 hours into this game so far.
All right.
I have not felt the urge to pay money.
Okay.
Which, if you were to just stop playing, if you just played story mode and then you didn't play the rest of the game, you'd be fine. I think you would be fine. That's that's to say, still if you're not enjoying the characters in the world, and the gameplay, and you're not enjoying the gameplay enough, then it's probably not going to carry you through, and that's fine.
Well, yeah, I love the characters and the style, right? Like that. Mm-hmm. That's the part of where I'm like, holy shit, this game looks fucking incredible, and I love the vibe and the style. Like, this reminds me of a goddamn Dreamcast game. It's great. It's just that my initial 2-hour impression was just like we said earlier, Bayonetta Light, DMC Light, etc. But then what you're describing, I'm like, oh, this sounds like the level of I don't find optimization to be a super fun gameplay path in regards to throwing buffs on people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I enjoy it enough, but if it's literally just apply these stats and then you're good, then I'm kind of just like, okay, whatever. Now, earning those stats, that sounds appealing. But that sounds like that's gated in a bunch of different ways.
There's different ways to earn these. It definitely is. I wouldn't say it's limited. You know, all right, I've got 240 battery charge. It's like 40 to 60 to earn a decent chunk of like this currency, whether it be experience for the character or experience for the W engine, or to earn these disk drives. And it's limited. But if you're just like, here's a game I'm just going to jump into for half an hour to an hour each day, and then I do like a good 3 hour burst on a weekend. There's enough for you here. There's enough. It can be frustrating if you're trying to get to the end game as soon as possible, and you want to, okay, I'm going to take Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to put 12 hours into this game. Unless you're at the beginning, like, it'll be frustrating. But yeah.
Every time I hear about the design of these games, I'm just like, this has emboldened me to be like, subscription service for these kind of games might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Like that the fact that I am not, like, I find time gating to be the most frustrating shit in the world in video games. Because sometimes, yeah, I only have 30 minutes to play, but sometimes I have literally 12 hours. And like, for example, they time gated part of the Warcraft season this time around because of the early access. They didn't want early access peeps to get like a big advantage, which that's fine. And that's like a case where I understand it, but I did find it frustrating where, like, god damn it, I just want this shit to be out already so I can farm my gear. So, and in this case I get it because they want you to pull out the credit card. That's the answer.
So, yeah, that was one big impression I had, is like, as I learned more and I got more into the systems, they would kind of drip them out. Like, man, Monster Hunter Rise like throws tutorial after tutorial at you. Like, here's how this works. Here's how this works. Here's how this works. And I found that overwhelming. Like, this just keeps going. It just felt like every time, because also they're releasing this game in chunks. So like, they just released chapter 4 of the story, along with some characters. So like, and maybe in a couple months they release chapter 5, if we're going by like how frequently they're releasing these. So there's just constantly stuff, and there's constantly new stuff. And so the more I did it, and the more I was introduced to different systems that you are working on to level up and get more stuff, I was like, oh man, like, MMOs like have this whole system down, but there's just something about the way they do it here that screams, no. This is what we do. This is our craft. These systems that you need to gain to try and get the most out of in different ways. We have done this a couple times now, and we're very, very good at it.
It's entirely intentional that they know how they make their money via these games, which is why when anyone tells me like, oh no man, like, I totally have barely spent money or spent no money, I'm like, but the game is built in a way to where they want you to spend money, and they're going to eventually get their money, if not from you, from someone else. And I find this super fucking gross and predatory. Which is unfortunate, because like, Honkai Star Rail looks fucking incredible, like, visually and its style. Like, they did that casino update last year, and I'm like, or earlier this year, and I'm like, fuck, I want to play that. That looks amazing. But yeah, like, it's one of those things where just like, I find this so fucking gross and predatory. Like, but and people are like, oh, but like, you don't have to pay. And I'm like, yeah, you don't have to do a lot of things. But like, Lost Ark did this shit too. You don't have to pay it all in Lost Ark. You can fucking grind out everything. It's time gated, but you can grind it out. But the problem is you hit that time gating wall, and if you want to keep playing, it's just frustrating. So it's either you get frustrated because you have to stop playing, or you get frustrated because you fucking have to spend 20, 50, whatever, how many dollars that you have to spend to get what you need to keep going. And it's fucking gross. Like,
So okay, so in regards to spending money on this, here's what I've done so far. I spent $1 because they had like this intro bundle thing. I was like, $1 is not a lot. Let's try it. And it was trash. It was like next to nothing. I don't even know why I did that. And then I put 40 hours into this game, and I was like, all right, they've earned a little bit of money from me for this, for the amount of time I spent playing this and enjoying it. Let's put some money in. So I was looking at it. All right, so they have the Internet membership, which is you get 300 of this like black and white currency that you can use to buy like stable rolls for the stable roll, which is not concentrated on a certain character or a certain engine or anything. It's like, here's just the full list. Go ahead and roll, and they all have equal amount of chance. Obviously, engines are prioritized because they're fucking garbage, and you could like recycle them to make better engines or just into Denny's or whatever. The currency, the cheap free currency. And then you get 90 of the color currency, which is what you use to roll for the specific character of that banner or whatever. You get 90 each day you check in for a max total of 2,700. Now, a max 2,700 is less than 15 spins. And that's, I gotta say, when you play the story mode and you're getting all this stuff in the early game, that feels like nothing. It doesn't feel like much at all. And the idea of spending $5 on it is like, I don't know.
And this is partially why and they do that intentionally.
Yes.
They give you all that shit up front. So, oh my god, I once again, I have had oh my god, the Broncos beat the Jets.
Oh, hey.
What?
And yeah, they beat them 10-9.
Man, what an exciting game.
Anyway,
I'm a head out.
Scores. Yeah.
Anyway, but no, they do this intentionally, which is why.
Yes, of course. No, everything in this is intentional.
Which is why, like, I have friends at the Genshin crack house.
Yes.
Being like, oh man, it's not that bad, like free to play, and they're like, yeah, that's nice, man. I don't want to do crack with you, okay? Like, I don't.
Right. So okay, so here's the thing: is I'm still in the intro area. I'm in the middle, or I've just begun chapter 3, and they just released chapter 4. So story mode comes with a number of materials and a story that you'll want to get through. So I'm having fun with that. I'm gonna get that. I'm very curious what it's gonna be like when I'm caught up. I'm very curious how I'm gonna feel when that gravy train runs out fully. People are saying like it drops once you get to level 40. I'm almost there. Level cap is at 60 right now. And yeah, so I will say I haven't done that. I paid the $1, and then there's the bundle shop where they're bundling stuff together. And again, at this beginning area right now, this is not worth it. None of what they're selling is worth the amount of money they're charging. But I'm very curious how I'm going to feel later.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have two things. They have, well, okay, so they had what I've explained, and then they have a season pass. And this season pass runs for a little over a month, like 40 days or something. And it's what you imagine. There's a free, and then they have a basic growth plan, which is the premium. And then they have a super premium plan that like gets you a couple more things and like I think 10 more tiers of levels. It's another $10, so it's not even worth it. But the season pass itself is $10 for a little over a month. And I could see treating this like a subscription plan of like, all right, I'm going to pay $10 every 40 days and you get a bunch of materials. Here's each level you unlock, you get a bunch of materials that you normally would not get outside of the story mode push. So I spent the basic $10 on that just to see what it's like, just getting this stuff. And then next month, I'm thinking of just not paying anything and seeing how hard that desert hits me.
I would love to hear you report back on this because it's like I know all of this shit is predatory. I'm just curious to
Yes.
what extent,
Right.
because like Lost Ark was fucking like banking on sunk cost fallacy like a motherfucker. Because
Right.
by the time that me and Stella hit that wall where like honing was just the most demoralizing thing in the world, we're already 250 hours in.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see how they do it in the gotchas.
Right.
You know.
And I don't. Explaining a lot of these things, not knowing how Genshin Impact works or Honkai Star Rail works. So I'm
Well,
sure a
yeah,
lot of
that's
this has been inherited from that. I don't know. I'm just attributing it to Zenless Zone Zero because this is my first experience.
mm,
But yeah, I'm not someone who gets sucked into uh, you know money sinks. Usually, the most I do is like I'll spend 7 or 12 bucks on a mount I want in MMO or in like Destiny where you got the board. I was like, yeah, I'm spending money on that. Crazy. Um, but so I'm very curious how I'm gonna feel once this well drums out because a lot of these characters I've actually really enjoyed every single one of them. I think they're fun characters, and I think there's interesting stuff going on with them. So I'm enjoying leveling a lot of them, and a number of free to play characters are totally viable in the end game. If you really wanted to stick to, I'm not going to pay a single goddamn dollar for getting these for roles for premium characters.
mm.
You can just run the free to play characters, and you'd be good. But
Right.
yeah,
But so here, once again, it's the problem I run into, and it's also, to be fair, on the paid MMOs like a WoW, like a 14. I think that their microtransactions are bullshit, quite frankly, in most cases.
sure,
But that's because you're already paying a sub. But I also feel that you look at the $15 a month. I know that's way less than a lot of people are putting into their gotcha games. And then
yes, yes,
also on top of that, nothing is gated from me once the season starts proper.
right,
And I also like none of the rewards are gated from me except
yep.
via gameplay. And if I want, Aaron, if I was like, all right, I got a week off from work, I can literally play WoW Mythic Plus and farm gear and currency until I am full 625 gear.
Right.
It would take all goddamn week, but I could do it.
Yeah.
And it's a very straight transaction. It's you get the game time and all of the game. I get $15 for 30 days, or in my case, because
Hmm.
I pay 6 months at a time, $12 for 30 days.
Right.
So it's I just I hate the fucking I hate that kind of free to play economy and that kind of game. I'm a little more okay with it in like League's case.
Sure.
Like I'm a little less like this is disgusting and horrible. It's still annoying. It's the same
Yes.
reason why I find most online card games awful is because of that. Is where it's like, okay, like this is nonsense.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. And yeah, it's definitely that. It's another one of those. It's just a different skin. The idea at this point, from what I can tell, is just like we're gonna find the genre you like, and when we do, we're gonna do our best to try and get you. Um. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still 40 hours in. I'm still early. Like I'm still like I just hasn't hit me yet. The materials have not run out, and as long as the materials have not run out, I'm looking at the prices you are charging for these materials to get more spins, and it is not worth it right now. Um, but I am also like sitting here like I have 3 spins on me at this moment. That's not enough to get what I want, but I am fine with that. I will get what few spins I get right now, and I'm going to keep chipping at it. There are some people who can't handle that, and it could be in a little bit here. It starts chipping away at me. I don't know, but I'm going to continue this experiment. because I am enjoying just playing this game. I am enjoying this more casual Devil May Cry action of just like hitting the basics and swinging people around to, all right, I got this person's buff. I'm going to switch over. Their buff carries over to this character. I'm going to start hitting the basic attack and the special attack to get their buff going, and then switch that over to my attack character, and I'm just going to wail on people. And people are going to take swings at me, and I'm going to counter them, and it's going to look fucking sick. And I'll do my counter attack, and that does a whole bunch of damage. And yeah, it's got me. The gameplay, I think, is fun. I think the characters in the world are fun. The question is, as I get closer, as I get caught up in the story and the materials run out, what's going to happen to me? I don't know. I am hopeful I do not fall, but we will see.
Okay. Did you get any other time in on PS5 while you were out and about?
No, I put on the YouTube app and played lo-fi music while I tried to learn HTML. that's
All
my
right.
that's my PS5 experience.
That's fair enough. All right.
Holy shit, there are a lot of commercials on YouTube. God damn.
Shills Holes says, "What's up, guys? What are we discussing? I'm a bit late. My bad. You're good. We were just talking about Zenless Zone Zero and free to play games, my guy. You're good.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna roll right now. I got a couple things. I'm gonna roll. Let's see what happens.
so yes, we got the gotcha Gamba slot machine going.
Yep. All right. That's an engine. That's nothing. Garbage. I will say the new character. I got her. I rolled her on the first day, so I was pretty thrilled with that. That helped a lot. Another engine. Garbage. All right. Let's check the stable channel. One more spin. And they're probably not going to give me anything. Yeah, nothing. Garbage. All right, cool.
Gross. Super gross. It's legitimately the same reason I stopped playing TCGs. If you were to ask me, like, hey, go play Yu-Gi-Oh! Today, I would not buy packs. I would go find whatever deck I wanted to run on the internet and buy those cards individually.
Okay.
Which is, I think that's a key part in why I hate fucking gacha so much. Is like, I just want to buy what I want and go on with my fucking life.
Exactly.
And they purposely don't do that, so you keep pulling till you get what you want. It's a big part of why I'm okay with the League microtransactions, for example, or or like a Street Fighter Season Pass or Tekken Season Pass, because I know that, okay, I paid for the Season Pass, I am getting Heihachi.
Yeah.
I know what I'm buying.
Yep.
This, it's like I said, it's effectively fucking gambling.
Yes.
And I'm curious, and like, I feel like a big defense is and you mentioned it, like, oh, I played 40 hours and I've only paid like a couple bucks. It's like, well, yeah, because they want to get you fully sucked in.
Exactly.
Before they fucking make you pull out the goddamn credit card.
Yep.
It's one of the biggest, like, the Star Wars MMO. I went to play it, and that's the big mistake. They are very early. They are trying to sell you. No, sir, that is the wrong way you do this. What you do is you get someone fucking invested and loving the game, and then you hit them up for money. Because sunk cost fallacy weighs heavily on monkey brain.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna try and keep a handle on it. I feel comfortable where I'm at right now. I could see, at a certain point paying up to $60-$70 just to be like, hey, you made a damn good video game. Thanks for that. I
very much. Once again, I went down this path with Overwatch because loot boxes are the same shit, different flavor of the same shit. And, during both of the holiday events, to get the holiday stuff I wanted, blew, $200 each time. So $200-$300. Like, so it's just like, I have confronted this demon already. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, you can tell me, like, it's back then, after I realized it, yeah, you can say Overwatch is a $40 complete game all you want, but if you want to get all the cosmetics for a limited time event, you better either play 24/7 or bust out the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And again, like, there's something to be said about, like, there's a fine line between supporting this game as a game you want to keep going, that gave you a lot of fun and good times, and then, like, it's an ongoing, game, so you can see throwing some bucks at them every now and then to support what they're doing. And then there's developing the addiction, the sunk cost fallacy, and all of that. And that's a fine line. And I'm curious what will happen. The experiment will continue, and I will report back.
okay, yeah, because the way I would do it is definitely not going to get them the kind of money that they're making now, which is, hey, you want this character? Cool, it's $20. Here you go.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Which
like
even
it's
that's like a whole bunch of money, but people would pay it, and it would still probably net them less money than what they're doing now.
absolutely. It's why you look at like Diablo 4 is a massive moneymaker for Blizzard.
Uh-huh.
It's stupid. Like, and it's because I'm gonna check right now, but I believe they have skins that are legitimately almost the price of a game.
Ooh.
Yep. It's fucking gross. But at least I know I'm getting that skin.
Right.
I am getting what I am paying for. Like, okay. And they actually are nice enough to do a 1-to-1 currency conversion. 1,500 platinum is $15. So all right, let's see. Yeah, okay. So they have skins that range from $10 to $28, and then
Okay.
the season pass is $10. The accelerated version of the season pass, where you get a bunch of extra bullshit, is $28.
All right.
So you're effectively paying $28 a season, plus an additional $10 to $28 for any other skin or mounts you may want. I'm not gonna
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna lie. They did a Warcraft collection recently, and I main Barbarian in Diablo, and they put
Okay.
out a Varian skin for Barbarian, and I was just like, you motherfuckers, you motherfuckers. I didn't do it, but man, that was a tempting $28 to spend.
God. Yep.
They know, they
They
know.
know.
Yeah. Which speaking of the Diablo whole, hey, guess what? Week and a half, new expansion.
Oh my
Me,
God.
me and my girlfriend gonna go deep in to the Diablos.
Oof.
Go deep into the vessel of hatred.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. I just go from one
Good.
Blizzard crack den to another. Diablo,
Yep.
Warcraft, Diablo, Warcraft, back and forth. Uh, all right. I think that's a show, unless we got anything else. Anybody got anything they want to bring up, talk about?
I think we got it.
Oh wait, actually, crap. Sorry, we don't get these on the YouTube that often, everybody, so I forget that they happen. I'm
Oh.
so sorry. We got comments.
Comments.
Comments. Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize.
One
We are
last thing before we go.
one more thing. Always. So let me pull up. All right. So Solid Kratos says, also played Deadlock, and it's pretty interesting. To be honest, haven't played a MOBA since Smite. To be honest, it gives me a lot that look, but more control of your character, which is awesome. The constant updates, which is cool, but definitely gonna give it a try and mess with the characters. I've only played a little bit, but I really enjoy it. But anyway, he says, how are you liking Deadlock, and what do you see the potential in this MOBA once it fully rolls out, considering how saturated the market is? I think because it's Valve, it'll do great. They're the
Right.
Dota
Yeah.
people. They're the I think that Valve has earned this reputation in the industry where they're kind of like everything they touch turns to gold. So yeah.
Yep.
So also whenever you do pick up Warhammer, I'm always down to co-op since you can do up to 3 players in the campaign. I'd be down to do a walkthrough of the game. I want to play that game. It's just that I'm spending money on a bunch of other bullshit for the time being. So, but once December rolls around, fuck yeah, let's go. Uh,
Cool.
Also, Concord being on the Amazon show Secret Level is insanely funny, especially considering Sony really thought the game was going to be a smash hit, but ended up being a smoldering wreck. It makes me wonder what the Amazon episode is going to be, considering they probably had to rewrite the episode and reshoot some scenes to reflect the current status of the game. I think it'd be really funny if they didn't touch anything, and they just left it like that.
Yeah.
It might be
I'll
a little
probably have
fucked
to.
too, but
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, right?
And then I forget what this is referenced to in the episode, but it's fun to pretend to be in a cult.
Oh,
It sure is.
um.
oh
So.
God.
So yeah. Thank you, Solid Kratos. Hey, a couple things before we leave. The RSS feed is back up. We're on the Spotify's. We're on
Yes,
the.
we're back.
We're on the Spotify's. We're on the YouTubes. We're on the Apple podcasting services. So go there, especially go to the YouTube and like and comment. That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week with more. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.